All right, good morning, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Um, we thank God for the honor that we have to witness another day. We understand, one of the ways we can appreciate the faithfulness of God is to acknowledge Him for every gift, including the gift of another day. And I really want to especially thank everyone who has made it to be here today. Most especially, I want to acknowledge and appreciate our main speakers for today. That is Mr. Sonny Olorunseye and Mr. Wisdom Ezekiel, known as the Wise Man. Thank you so much for making it here today. We are deeply honored and we appreciate the privilege of having you once again on this platform. Thank you so much. Let me request Mr. Olamide Olusomi to just start with us with a word of gratitude to God for the gift of another day, even as we comment in this program. Mr. Olamide Olusomi.
Amen. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, so let me just take the prayer. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you. We appreciate you for the gift of life. We thank you, Father, because you've caused us to see another day. It's not by our power, it's not by our might. We return all the praise to you in Jesus' name.
Amen.
We commit today's program into your hands. We ask, O Lord, that you grant our speakers insights. You grant them wisdom. And you also grant them a sound mind to grant us answers to all of our questions and to also show us the way which has caused them to become men of influence in the name of Jesus. We pray also for every participant that they will not just attend, but they will be impacted. And they will just not be impacted alone, but they will take steps in the name of Jesus. Thank you for this opportunity once again. We pray, O Lord, that it shall be a day that we live to remember. In Jesus' mighty name, pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Now we can proceed. Once again, I would like to welcome everyone who has made it today on Cracking the World Code, organized by Paul in collaboration with EduStart, as well as the Covenant University Alumni Association, the chapter, and the Covenant Cooperative Society, also based in Covenant University. Apparently, I'm kind of like involved in all these groups, so I'm a member of these groups, thankfully. But let me use the opportunity first of all make a few introductions. I would like to introduce our two speakers for today. It's not time for their session, but I would like to introduce them so that those who are here as participants, you can know those around. We have there Mr. Wisdom Ezekiel. I'm told they call him the wise man. By the time you begin to hear me speak, you understand where that statement came from. So you're welcome, sir. Thank you so much for making it to be here. We are deeply grateful for the honor of having you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
Thank you, sir. Then we also have Mr. Sonny Olorunseye. I don't know how I can explain his own time zone because I think it's night over there where you are, but it's during the daytime here. But somehow your system has mastered the art of working in any time zone. Thank you so much for making it to be here. We are deeply honored to have you. Thank you so much for taking the time out to share of the wealth of knowledge and experience that God has given you to bless us. Thank you so much. You're welcome, sir.
Always a privilege.
Thank you so much, sir. So to just give us a welcome remark, I would like the coordinator of the Covenant University Alumni Otta chapter to give us a word of welcome for this program before we start immediately. Olamide Olusomi is the one who is the coordinator for the Covenant University Alumni Otta chapter. I would like to welcome him to give us a word of welcome. Olamide. Is Olamide Olusomi there? Okay. Okay, I don't think he's there. I guess he has internet. Okay. Anyway, he was the one who took us the opening prayer. He was supposed to give us a welcome on behalf of the association, just to acknowledge. Olamide, are you back?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate each and every one of us that have made it a part of our calendar for today. And I believe that what we are going to learn today, the insights we are going to gain, will go a long way in helping us and causing us to achieve our financial goals. I'll just take a clue from a scripture in Ecclesiastes 10, verse 15. It says, the labor of the foolish wearieth all of them, because they do not know how to get to the city. So there's an out to everything that we aspire to in life. There's a way to go. And it's just wisdom for us to tap into the insights of those that have gone ahead, those that have followed that path, those that have been proved and tried, those that have testimonies, worthy testimonies. It's just wisdom for us to follow them and to see how they were able to navigate those terrain so that we can gain speed and we can also achieve our goals quickly. And I think that is what this program, Cracking the Wealth Code, is all about. I believe that at the end of today's discourse, each and every one of us would have been shown the wisdom or the how-to in achieving our financial goals. It's my prayer that each and every one of us will not take this lightly, but I will give it all seriousness, because it's not just attending conferences and seminars that makes one's life to become a life of significance or relevance. Rather, it is the steps that we take as a result of those things we heard from seminars, from conferences, from programs that we attend. So I believe that this is just one of those opportunities again right before us. And as we take charge of the moment, as we apply our hearts to all that we are going to listen to, all that we are going to learn, all of our heart desires will come to pass in the name of Jesus. So I welcome each and every one of us to today's seminar. It promises to be very insightful. So enjoy as we listen to our speakers and our moderators and our panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lamide. Thank you so much. And to everyone who is already here, I can see the participants are coming in. So keep coming in. Don't worry whether the Zoom room is going to be full. Thankfully, the version we are using will allow us to also stream on YouTube. Like you can see, we are actually live on YouTube. So anyone who is not able to get in will also be referred to YouTube directly. So we don't have any issue in terms of limitation. So we're not limited. We can reach as many persons as possible. Before we proceed, I would just like to give some few statements that will help guide our participants to maximize this session. Lots of insights will be flowing through this platform, so we'd like you to take full advantage of sharing the things that you'll be learning, one. Two, there is a button there called Q&A. Don't put your question in the chat section. Use the Q&A button to ask your questions. Maximize that button. Our session is going on. Feel free to ask your questions immediately. We're going to have a session in the program called Q&A. That will help us to be able to address your real key issues. The thing about money is that people just have the knowledge of money, but really they don't know how to control money. We understand from our operations that there is a direction with which money flows, and there are persons who have mastered this art of money. Today we are looking at the wealth code, earning passive income. Not everybody knows how to earn passive income. Most persons know how to earn income by trading their time in exchange for income. But there are some persons who have mastered the art of earning income without having to trade their time. And that's what we call passive income. And we are honored to have two of the persons who have proven that over the years, and then they'll be sharing with us from their experience. I'll also engage them in a Q&A session. An opportunity will also be given to our participant through the Q&A button to also ask their questions. So please kindly use the Q&A button to ask your questions while the session is going on. I also like you to take full advantage of the social media platform. So the handle for our speakers, two of them today, Wisdom Ezekiel, whether it's for Twitter, for Instagram, or and also for our second speaker, Mr. Sundo Lorenshi. I would like someone to put that in the chat section. Tolu or Mrs. Oluwatobi, you can help me to put that at the chat section. So at Wisdom Ezekiel, whether it's for IG or for Twitter, as well as for Sundo Lorenshi, whether it's for IG or for Twitter. So whatever insights that you hear them share, feel free to go on social media, put it there, and tag them. You can also follow me also on Twitter and Instagram, same name, Stephen Olwatobi, at Stephen Olwatobi. Use that to get the conversation going and share the things that you've been learning while the session is going on. Now, let's quickly proceed. While Lamido was giving his introduction, he said something about wisdom being the way to get into the city, so don't operate foolishly. There is how to do things. And just like there's how to do things for other things, there is how to do things when it comes to money. In fact, money can be seen as a spirit. It knows where it goes to. So there are things that you do that attract it. There are things that you do that repels it. And it's wisdom to learn from those who have done it before. We understand that if you have not been through a particular route before and there's someone who has gone through, it makes sense to ask somebody who has been there before so that it will save you time and cost. So you'd have to be roaming around the whole city. We have two of them here today, and I'll be introducing the first person now. Let me just read a brief on him. Apparently, the name of the first person that will be sharing with us today, his name is Wisdom. I'm told they call him the Wise Man. So let me give you a brief of who the Wise Man is. You can also see a brief on him on the screen. So Wisdom Ezekiel is the co-founder of Pertinence Group, owner of Pertinence Limited, Pertinence Properties Limited, Petisay, Data First, eTrack, and recently RealVest. Ezekiel entered the business and financial services sector about 20 years ago and has consistently grown in leaps and bounds. Prior to co-setting up Pertinence Limited in 2012, he worked as a financial planner with a financial services company in Lagos. He was executive director, LifePage Limited, among others. Ezekiel holds an executive MBA from the Metropolitan School of Business and Management in the United Kingdom. He's evolving into a new generation boardroom juggernaut, as he currently operates as a frontline player in Host Now Now Limited and Rush Stars Limited, with key interests in the entertainment industry. That's quite remarkable. He is management and faculty member of the Entrepreneurship Academy. Ezekiel is a sought-after speaker at conferences and seminars. He's married to the lightsome Temitope, and they are blessed with children. Ezekiel is also the author of Desperate for Change book series, including Don't Get Mad, Get Rich, and Rush. And there's something that's not added. He's also a man of God. He's a pastor of a church where he leads people to follow the right path in building their capacity and character. Ladies and gentlemen, please hit the raise hand button as you applaud for me, Wisdom Ezekiel, as he takes his session. Please hit the raise hand button. You're welcome, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Thank
I
you, sir.
really appreciate this opportunity to speak to very interesting people. From the few conversations we have had, I'm actually fidgeting here because I'm talking to knowledgeable people, so I can't bamboozle you. If you guys were not knowledgeable now, I could do some stunts, but right now, I will need to do a lot of hard work to be able to communicate and have a pass mark at the end of the day. So I just believe that you guys will give me a pass mark. Even if not for what I said, maybe for the fact that I'm a man of God, just like you said. So thank you very much for everyone who has joined. I may not be able to mention everybody's name, but somebody in particular that I can't go for without mentioning his name is Mr. Sunday Olorunsheyi, who happened to be my brother, my partner, my friend, and a business partner of many years. We were in London one time. We were having a conference, and I was the first person to speak. And when I finished speaking, I was mentioning my partner, Mr. Olorunsheyi, and somebody came to whisper to me that when I'm talking partner, I should be very specific, that I can say my business partner, because here, partner means a lot of things and people can misinterpret it. So I started using the word my business partner. So my business partner, Mr. Olorunsheyi, thank you very much for also being here. And it's just very funny that you'll be speaking in a place where you have gurus. You know, this man is a guru, and anything I'm going to be saying, you'll be looking at it, that am I saying the right thing? So I'm actually in a tight fist right now. I would have wanted him to have spoken for, so that I would just repeat everything he will say. And we can actually close. All right, let me get down because I don't think we have the luxury of time. We're talking about unlocking the wealth code, and when you are supposed to unlock something, it means the thing is locked. And for you to unlock something, it means that you have the right key to unlock it. If you get to a door and you are a Christian and you have fasted for 21 days dry. You have not eaten anything, nor drank anything, and you get to the door and the door is locked. No matter the extent of prayer that you want to pray, that door remains locked until you put a key. So in life, there are keys to unlocking anything that is locked. And when we talk about codes are used to lock things or open things. So, for instance, you buy a safe. Usually the safe will come with some buttons that you can actually apply some codes to lock it up. For anyone who does not have that code, he will need to break the safe for him to have access into the safe. So when we're talking about unlocking or talking about wealth code, we're actually talking about unlocking something that has been locked. Is no doubt that wealth is hidden. Even the Bible made us to understand that there is hidden riches in secret places. So the wealth is hidden, is also in a secret place. So it's much more inside a vault that needs to be unlocked. And that's why not everybody is wealthy. Most people that we have in the world today are within the average and the lower side of the ladder. But the more the vast majority of people are within the lower cadre and also the average side of the wealth. But if you look at the real people who are making wealth, they are very few. And thank God we have many of them in this house that we are very few that make this wealth. So the reason why it's like that is because really what it takes to become wealthy is a lot of secrets here and there. Is a lot of codes that you need to begin to look for to be able to become wealthy. And let me tell you something, any wealth that is not passive is struggle in disguise. Every man who is truly wealthy must have made his wealth through passive wealth. Wealth that you do one work and you earn multiple times. You put in one system and you can keep earning from the system. So I would like to start by talking about the first thing about wealth. First, wealth is a mentality. This cannot be overemphasized. We have had it several times being spoken by a lot of speakers. We'll talk about wealth mentality. We'll talk about the fact that wealth is a mindset. This is real. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You cannot separate a man from his thinking. Even if you give a man money and his thinking is poor, give him only few years, he will return back to being poor because his thinking is what drives him. It's not money that is his driving force, it is his thinking. So I've seen people who want to go into business, and by the time you ask them, why have you not started business? They say, we don't have money. And you give them money, and a few years after you have given them money, you see them back to penury. Why? Not because they didn't have what it takes, but because what is on their inside is contradicting the money you have given them, the opportunity you have given them. So the first thing you do for a man is not to give him money. The first thing you do for a man is to change the way they think. Now, so wealth is a mentality. To unlock wealth, you need the right mentality. You need the right mindset. You need the right mindset that thinks positivity, that thinks possibility, that thinks forwardness, that thinks success. If you don't have those kind of mind, it becomes very difficult for you to make it in life. Starting Pertinence Group some few years ago, myself and Mr. Sunday, we had a lot of struggles in our life. We had struggles, and I know Mr. Sunday has been on your platform a couple of times. He would have shared some of the experiences that we've had in trying to become who we are today. It's been a lot of process. We have had to do so many things, but there was something that was consistent with us all through, is the fact that our mentality was always a wealthy mentality. When we drank Gary, it was with wealthy mentality. We drank Gary like people who are going somewhere. When we're selling Gary, selling tomatoes, selling yam, going to those markets to go and buy those things, we're buying them knowing that one day things are going to actually change. We're not looking like victims. We're looking like victors. People who had more money than us were looking up to us for encouragement. Why? Because of the kind of mentality that we carry, the mindset we carry. You can never see us being gloomy. You can never see us being depressed. Why? We carry a wealthy mentality. We carry a possibility mentality. Even when things go wrong, we always believe that things will revert back to becoming right, because that is our mentality. That's the way we think. Now, the dominant thought of your mind is what determines what happens to you. It doesn't matter what happens around you. It is the way you respond to it that determines what kind of benefit you derive from the situation around you. Bad or good situation is not important, so to say. What's important is, what do you do with bad situation? What do you do with good situation? Most of the time, opportunities, they come as bad situation. They come as something that does not look palatable, something that you may not be able to do something with. But hidden inside are solutions that can make you become something great in life. So the first thing you need to do is to develop the wealth mentality. Don't ever say there is no money. Even in the poorest of countries, there are billionaires there. Not just billionaires in their local currency, but billionaires in foreign currency. In Nigeria of today, we can say they say Nigeria is a very poor country. But that's a lie, because you have a lot of rich people in Nigeria. The reason why they classify Nigeria as a poor country is because the average man is not experiencing the wealth. The wealth has been handled by the exclusive rich people. But you know something? The people who have the right mentality will know that there is wealth in this country, will know that even in the midst of this lockdown we are experiencing, in the midst of this crisis that the entire world is experiencing, there is still money. Money does not develop wings and fly away. So the fact that they says there is recession does not mean that money has disappeared. Money is still where money is. It's just that people are not spending as much as they need to spend. That's why they say there is a recession. So money is still where it is. Money has not disappeared. So don't carry that scarcity mentality. Don't carry that it's not enough mentality. Don't carry that I can't make it mentality. The mentality that we ought to imbibe is I can make it mentality. And that's the first wealth strategy I want to talk about. I'm talking about right now. The next one is wealth management. Wealth is, even when you have the wealth mentality and you don't develop wealth management, it brings you to a point where you will always need to work for you to earn wealth. It brings you to a point where you can earn amongst all the wealth that you have in the world, and you always come to confusion because there is no proper management. And that's why we set up platforms like this, to be able to discuss on how can we manage wealth, how can we manage what we have to be able to get to the place where we want to get to. You know, wealth management is very important. And what is wealth management? It's simply a system that you have designed to ensure that your wealth is properly allocated. There are people who earn money. They earn, let me take an example. They earn up to 100,000 naira per month, 200,000 naira per month. And immediately the money comes, before the money enters their hand, it has been fully spent, because they would have collected some things here and there. They would have promised someone this particular amount of money. Now, we used to have those kind of issues when we started making money, because the wealth management thing, we have not started practicing it. We knew it all along because we worked in a financial services company, but we were not really practicing it the way we ought to practice it. So wealth management is not just the knowledge, it is the practice. How do you appropriate income to ensure that I earn 100,000 naira, 10% is my tithes, 10% is my investment, 10% is my savings. It means that out of your 100,000 naira, 30,000 naira is not yours. It's supposed to be kept for the future. The tithe secures your spiritual aspect, that's your kingdom responsibility. The investment secures your future. The savings is there for emergency, so that if you have any emergency, you can actually reach out to be able to do something. Or you have an opportunity, you can actually get those savings and use it to key into an opportunity. Those three things must be done. If they are not done, it can affect anybody who is trying to build wealth. It's not about what you earn, it's about what you do with what you earn. What you earn does not matter as much as what you do with it, because two people can be earning the same amount of money in the same organization, And yet we have two different outcomes, because one is practicing wealth management, the other one is just practicing wealth disbursement, just spending money anyhow. You cannot afford to spend money anyhow if you are someone who is conscious of acquiring wealth. So wealth management is that process you have set up, that system you have put in place to say, this is how I want to manage my wealth. Now, if you check, you would have paid a lot of people in your life. But one question we keep asking is, when will you start paying yourself? When will you start reserving something that can secure your future? I don't have time to do the mathematics, but you see, if you have a consistent investment that gives you up to 20% return on investment over a period of 20 years, you will never be poor in your life. You will always have reserved enough to carry you. Now, during this pandemic, we had lockdown for almost 3 months, and the lockdown here and there is still on somehow. Now, one of the questions I was asking a few people that are engaged in conversation is, if this lockdown continues for 6 months, will you survive it? Will your salary take you home? If where you are working, they say, okay, we are not saying we are sacking you, but we are saying just stay at home. When everything returns to normal, we can re-employ, or we can call you back to work. For now, there's no work to be done. Can you actually survive it? What will make you survive it if you have been practicing wealth management? You have been putting structures in place to ensure that you put in things that can help you in times of crisis, because crisis will always come. The Bible talked about two men. It said one man was wise, the other was foolish. The wise man built his house on the rock, the other one built his house on the sand. Now, the thing is that the wind must always blow. Whether you like it or not, if you like, be a Christian, be a Muslim, be whoever you are, be an apostle, be a bishop, it doesn't matter. The wind of crisis will blow. When it blows, what will happen? If your house is built on the rock, it will stand. If your house is built on the sand, it will sink. That is what happens. You cannot negotiate it. So that's why people say, I don't know, something just happened. I discovered that I don't have money any longer. Some people say, the Yoruba people will say, Olowo Ana, the owner of the money of yesterday. That will not be any of our portion in the name of Jesus. You will not be Olowo Ana, you will be the Olowo even of now and of the future. But what can help you get there is what we call wealth management. Wealth management. You need to learn to manage your wealth. Everything you see should not be your concern. A new wristwatch is in town, should not be your concern. If you cannot afford it, I will always recommend, before you buy the first car, if it is not a car that you are using for work, if it's a car that you are using for luxury, before you buy the first one, be sure that you can afford to buy 3 or at least 2. If you cannot afford to buy at least 2, don't buy 1, because what it means is that if anything happens to that car, you can't replace it. So learn to manage your wealth. You are spending money to please people that are not ready to be pleased. All that long you have tried to please people, yet today you have not been able to please them. Let me tell you something. God himself has tried to please people, has tried everything to ensure that man is pleased. Until today, there are people who complain about God. There are a lot of people who are complaining that God is not fair. So if God could not achieve pleasing people, I don't know what kind of anointing you have that you want to live your life to please people. People will put financial pressure on you. You must appropriate what goes for those kind of financial pressure. For me, before now, I have a lot of, if you even write about now, I have a lot of financial pressure, but I've been able to structure my finances to ensure that I have what it takes to be able to meet those financial pressures. So if I earn 100,000 naira and I've removed my 30%, which goes for tithe, investment, and savings, I can now have the remaining 70%. Out of that 70%, I can remove another 10% that will say, okay, this is for helping people. This is for giving. If that money finishes, no matter what is happening, that money is finished. So there's nothing anybody wants to do about it. The remaining 60% is for me to take care of myself, take care of my family, and live a good life. That is left. The Bible said that God gives bread to the eater and seed to the sower. So what it means is that for every income you earn, there are 2 things that are inside. The first is the bread. The second is the seed. What we see today is anytime you eat your entire salary, you have eaten both the bread and the seed. Anytime you run into red at the end of the month, it means you have consumed everything, including the bread and the seed. And that is not wise at all. So you must learn financial management. You must learn wealth management in order to ensure that you are able to separate things with discipline and you stick to it. And one of the ways to do it is to put money where your hand cannot touch. Put money where you cannot easily liquidate. That's one of the ways to achieve that. So wealth management is very important. You must understand that. So I've talked about wealth mentality. I talked about wealth management. And the next one is wealth multiplication. You must understand, how do I take 10 naira and turn it to 100 naira? Many people do not understand that. And that's why not many people play in this field of passive income. Passive income is the greatest of income. What is passive income? Just simply put, it is an income that you earn consistently over just one thing that you have done. For instance, we run several kinds of systems in Pertinence Group where people can actually earn passive income, where you initiate a process of registering with us, and by so doing, you can amass a network of people who can be a part of what you are doing. And as the activities are going on in those areas, you are earning. Why? Because you have created that system. So when we talk about wealth, we talk about wealth in terms of multiplication. One of the major commandments or major instruction that God gave us in Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2 is that we should go and multiply. Go and multiply. Anything that you cannot multiply cannot result to wealth. Wealth is a system of multiplication. If all you do is just addition, it will take you a longer time to build the right kind of wealth. Wealth is a system of multiplication. So for everyone who wants to become wealthy, you must understand how to multiply wealth, how to take 1 naira and turn it to 10 naira, how to take 100 naira and turn it to 1,000 naira, or let me go high, how to take 1 million and turn it to 1 billion, because that's actually the language we speak. So that multiplication system has to be there. And so what do you do when it comes to multiplication system? Number one, you have to begin to look out for opportunities. Multiplication are hidden in opportunities. How do you see opportunities? You open your eyes. You are very inquisitive. You are very, you are always asking questions, always researching, always looking for what else can I do? Because some people, the only source of income they have is their salary. And if your salary is your only source of income, there is trouble somewhere, because it means that a particular organization controls your entire life. It means if that organization goes down, you are going down. It means if they sack the person in that organization, the person will suffer for some time, except the person gets another job. It means if the person does not get another job, the person will suffer for a very long time. So it means that you cannot actually limit yourself to one source of income. It is dangerous to do that. It's a very dangerous place to be. One source of income cannot make you wealthy. Watch the top 10 wealthy people in the world. You will see that they have multiple streams of income. But what is multiple streams of income is that mentality to seek to multiply. Anything that enters your hand, you want to see how can you multiply it. One of the things I advise is that never spend your first generation of money. Don't spend your second generation of money. Before you start spending, let it be the third or the fourth generation. So money has first, second, third, and fourth generation, and even fifth generation if you like. Now, what is the fourth generation of money? I'm working in an organization, they pay me a salary of 100,000 naira. That is the first generation of money. If that is all the primary place I spend, I will be in that bus stop for a very long time. That is not a good road for wealth. If that is the only thing I spend, it means you are spending your fourth generation. As you are giving birth to the children, you are killing them immediately. That cannot be a sustainable system. So what I advise is when you earn the 100,000 naira, you put in all other obligations, then you take a chunk of it to create a second generation of money. To say, okay, where can I put this money that it will yield interest? That interest become a second generation. Now, from the interest that has been yielded, you can now look at, okay, where else can I put this money? It becomes the third generation when you now earn interest or when you earn return on investment. So for me, I feel that for everyone who has serious mindset of becoming wealthy or having good passive income, you must not spend your first generation of money. You should be spending from either your second or third generation of money. I really advise that you should start spending from your third generation. You should learn how to multiply money to the third generation before you can start spending. That is how rich people do. Some people start business, and the first 5 years, they don't live a luxurious life. Why? Because they are seriously investing into their business, seriously putting all the effort into their business to ensure that they get to that particular point in time where they can now say, this is the third or fourth generation of my money. Right now, I cannot live a large life. So if you are living a large life with your third or fourth generation of money, then you are a good person. You are a wealthy person, because it means that forever your system of generation will keep multiplying and you will keep earning money. That's why you cannot say you sit down to live a very good life. Don't copy people who are living a life of luxury. Somebody bought a brand new car. Because the person bought a brand new car, you want to buy a brand new car. Go and buy the Tokumbo of the exact type and be using it. It's the same thing. When you enter inside, it's the same feel. It's the same feel. Until you can afford it, don't be looking for feeling. There's nothing like feeling when you cannot afford it. If you cannot afford it and you are struggling to meet up with the trend, then you will run all the rest of your life. So the first thing you need to do is to discipline yourself to come to that point where you begin to multiply money, where you begin to develop the mentality for wealth, and where you begin to look at wealth management in its intent. The last one under that wealth series is wealth modeling. Wealth modeling. For everyone who must become wealthy, you must have somebody that you are modeling after, or people that you are modeling after. There are people that have done what you want to do. There are people who have gotten to the heights where you want to get to, who are inspiration to you. You must ensure that you begin to model them. Look at the way they talk, the way they think, the way where they go to, their exposure, their interaction, their network, the way they behave, the approaches when it comes to doing business or when it comes to investment. You begin to look at it. For instance, if what you do, because there are people like that now, if what you do is, someone like Warren Buffett is an astute investor. Now, what some people do is that they don't think. All they do is, whatever Warren Buffett invests in, will invest in it. Whenever Warren Buffett is cashing out, will cash out. By so doing, some of them have become very wealthy. They leave Warren Buffett to do all the research, to do all the analysis, and do the investment, and they just cash in by just following. Now, so wealth modeling is not wrong at all. You can model after people when it comes to wealth. Somebody is doing well in business. You look at the person and say, okay, what this person is doing, I can copy it. We say copying is not wrong. Just copyright. That's why it's called copyright. It's not wrong to copy. So what you need to do is begin to model people who are wealthy. People who are wealthy have passive wealth. They have passive income. They always look for ways to multiply their money. They always look for ways to create system that will keep giving them money, not system that will keep taking money out of their pocket. Because some of these things, some of the folks who do not understand what we call asset and liabilities. What is an asset? An asset is simply anything that appreciates in value and puts money in your pocket. A liability is anything that depreciates in value and takes money out of your pocket. So you must understand these two things. Poor people acquire liabilities. Rich people acquire assets. That's why they are rich. Poor people, they acquire liabilities. So a poor person lives in a rented apartment, so he will keep paying money for the rest of his life. And I asked the question the other day in one of the adverts that we did. I said, how long will it take you to pay your landlord and the house will become yours? And I asked, is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? Is it 20 years? And I said, it's never. It can never become yours because the landlord is not running charity. He's using that same money to either keep up with his family or either do some other form of investment. So it means that no matter how long you keep paying rent, you will never own the house. The only way you own the house is if you have a mortgage system and you can use your rent as the payment for the mortgage system. So the poor people pay money. So money is always leaving them to pay for rent. Poor people, they pay for services, different services. They go for different functions. They attend to different things. If you hardly see rich people attending most of the functions that are in town right now, you find more poor people attending functions here and there. And they don't know that even if it is just transport money you are spending to go to that place, you have spent something. So the poor is always looking for how to spend. The rich is always looking for how to earn. how to earn. What are the earning opportunities around? How do I earn? When the rich even go for functions, they are looking for network. How do we multiply our money? The reason why I'm going here is because this person is my business partner. This person has a link that I'm looking up to, and I need to attend that wedding to show him that I care about him so that business can flow. That's the way we think. So if you must become wealthy, you must model after wealthy people. Wealthy people have some kind of code that they run, and it is very important that we begin to model after people who are wealthy, and that will help us to begin to crack all the codes that are available. Now, in wrapping up, because I know I'm not the only speaker here, so in wrapping up, I will say, now, one of the things that can give you passive income, and I'm going to show you 4 pillars of wealth that if you check any wealthy person in the world, you will find 1 or 2 or 3 of these things in their portfolio. Number 1 is real estate. Real estate is one of the major pillars of wealth that you invest once and it keeps multiplying. You invest once, it keeps multiplying. So real estate is one. Business, starting a business is another. Being an entrepreneur where you have businesses. It's either you start a business or you co-own a business. That's way to do it. These days, somebody will tell you, I don't have business. I'm not an entrepreneur. I cannot manage business. No, not everybody can manage business. Some people are better working for someone, why they cannot invest into other people's businesses and be a part of any growth that comes from those businesses. The next one is investment. I can agree that everybody must not be a business person or be an entrepreneur, but everybody can play in the area of investment. You must constantly, even as a businessman, you must invest. Investment is one of the ways to edge against or dilute your business system so that, God forbid, if anything goes wrong with your business, you have other investment systems that can sustain you while you fix your business. So investment is very important. We at Pertinence Group, we don't joke with savings, we don't joke with investment. We are constantly doing that. It's more like a culture that we have built within ourselves, that we are constantly doing that. The last one is intellectual property. So for every rich person you see, you will find 1, 2, 3, or even 4 of these things in their portfolio. That's the 4 pillars of wealth. And these 4 pillars, you can see that these 4 pillars, all of them has passive income. Number 1, real estate. Real estate, I can't spend time to talk about real estate. It's another class on its own. But real estate is one of the few investments you can do, and you will keep earning income over and over again. You build a house, you rent it out to someone, the person keeps paying you, and anytime the person is not paying you, you can decide to sell the house and you get huge value for the house. And even after many years, the house keeps appreciating in value. So real estate is one very major one that has passive income. Starting a business, building a business system. Mr. Lonche is right there in Canada, and I was supposed to be in the US if not for 1 or 2 constraints. And what will have happened is some people will answer, if Mr. Lonche is in Canada and you are in the US, how will your business succeed? There is a system. There's a system that is running a business. We have been able to build a formidable business system that can be self-sustaining. So that's also another part that you need to begin to look at to be able to say you are cracking the code for wealth. Then the next one is investment. If all you earn is from your salary, then you are living a risky life. You should earn from your salary. You should send money on an errand. Money should be able to get more money back to you. You should spend from your 3rd or 4th generation of money, not from your 1st generation. Everyone that spends from their 4th generation can never be rich. It's not a cost. Even if you give the person money, you give the person 10 billion naira, the person will squander it because he doesn't have the mentality to sustain the wealth you have given him. It can now run the person mad. That's why you see some people get into drugs, because they have too much money within them, but they don't have the mentality or the discipline to carry the wealth that they have. And the last one is intellectual property. You find people writing books, you find people having inventions, you find people patenting a lot of things, you find people coming up with music and all that, having platforms, where people can do a lot of things, and, it brings money. So intellectual properties are now one where you do one thing and you keep earning income from it. But most importantly, is that you have that mentality to say, I want to build wealth and I want to use these instruments that has been laid down for us to be able to build those instruments. I think I've been able to, in these few words of mine, I've been able to convince us and not confuse us. That's the way they usually end debates, isn't it? But, all right, thank you very much. I think I would like to rest my case here.
Thank you, sir. Please, can you hit the raise hand button to appreciate the wise man for the impact he has made? Whoa, see raising of hands. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Now, to our participants, I'm sure you picked some key things. And if you notice, I was trying to even use the chat section to document some of my notes so that at least I can share that with everyone. And I'm going to save the chat as well, so anyone can always have access to it who is interested. Thank you so much, sir. Key things. Please ensure you are taking your own notes as well, because the essence of this particular meeting is to be able to build our mindset, build our wealth mindset. And don't worry, we're still going to have the Q&A session, so we'll be able to, go more deeply. And some of you have real questions, we'll also be able to crack those things. But this is just to start the process. Now, without wasting much time, let me also move straight to the next speaker. And I would like to also read his citation so that we can also have like a clear background of who he is. If you listen to the presentation made by the wise man, you hear him say, my business partner, meaning that they've been in this game, this business together. From the statement, they apparently co-founded Pertinence Group together. And I can tell you about this organization. I've been exploring more deeply on this organization for some time now. And from 2012 to now, they've built a fortune. They've literally built a fortune. During the Q&A session, I'm going to be asking them some questions so that we all can gain insight into how they went from ground zero. In fact, maybe below ground zero itself, I'm not sure. But by the time I begin to ask them, they will let us know how they actually went from that point to the multi-million-dollar fortune that they've built now, because they have investments in real estate, they have investments in fintech, they have investments in technology, they have investments in agriculture, and so they are basically earning passive income. So now they can, be serving the world and, preaching the gospel and touching the lives of people. And that is why, we invited them so that we can learn from the things that they're doing. So without wasting time, let me just go straight to the profile of Sunday Olorunshe so we can have a clear background of him. So Sunday Olorunshe is a Nigerian businessman and an international business leader with a professional experience of over 20 years in building businesses in different sectors of work. He's the co-founder of Pertinence Limited, owner of ABC and VIP Gardens, with a team of over 3,000 staff nationwide. That's awesome. That's worthy of applause. He's also the CEO of the Global Group and Shop at Discount. Sunday is a successful serial entrepreneur, a business and management consultant, an investment advisor, and a global keynote speaker. His last project is to help people in business break forth by empowering their minds via training and mentoring. An astute business leader with a rich understanding of the African business economy. He currently sits on the board of 12 thriving businesses, amongst which includes Pertinence Properties Limited, a real estate and people empowerment company, Host Now Limited, a web hosting platform, Prodigy Consulting Limited, an IT-based company, First Royal Character and Value Limited, a social platform, etc. He's an advocate for continuous learning with 2 master's degrees in business administration and public administration from Business School Netherlands and Ladoke Akintola University, respectively, while he's on the 3rd master's in global management from Salford University, UK. Sir, you want to finish all the masters in the world? He's currently the lead mentor of Olorunshe Mentorship Platform. And I'd like to recommend this platform to anyone who is a young person here. I had the privilege of being on his platform, the Olorunshe Mentorship Platform, when they did the leverage. In fact, he wrote a book on the leverage, and there I recommend that also. You will see things that you need to know, how you can take advantage of those who have gone ahead, and also, amplify your own life, just like we heard from the wise man during his session. So he's a dedicated philanthropist. He's also the founder and chairman of the Olorunshe Foundation, established to tackle poverty, poor education, and community health issues in Africa. He's a faculty member of the African Leadership Forum, Capital Development. Ladies and gentlemen, please click the raise hand button as a sign of applause as welcome to take his session, Mr. Sunday Olorunshe. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Stephen. I count it a great privilege to be here
Thank
and
you.
speaking to this audience. I appreciate our audience, all the participants. Thank you for coming on board. I believe the few things we'll be sharing together will add value to you. I want to appreciate especially the organizers of this platform. I want to say you've done something that generation after will be thankful that, there's power in information, there's power in knowledge. A great deal of the problems we have around the world today results from ignorance, because what you know, you keep struggling with. So when people organize platforms to pass information across to others, they are just creating a path for transformation, because it is information that you act upon that transforms you. So thank you for this platform. I want to celebrate my business partner. I believe you see why we call him the wise man now. Yeah, his approach to life is interesting. The simplicity with which he does his things and like that. And we've been together for over a decade now in business. And I tell you, our relationship has been very, very, very fruitful. And I'm grateful. If you ask me if I come back to the world again and I want to do business, I will go the partnership way again. I will always go the partnership way, and I will still pick him. Thank you very much for making it all. Yeah. So we just go straight. We are looking at how to unlock the wealth code, and I'm so glad because he did a great job by making it easy for me. So I'll just share a few things so we can have other things in the program. One thing I've observed is that over 90% of the pressures we have in life has direct link with finances. If you sit down and itemize most of the challenges you have around you, if you have enough money, not less than 90% of those challenges will be resolved without much effort. They just disappear. When we talk about the issue of money, you can look at it from two sides. There's a problem of not enough money, and there's a problem of too much money. And if you have not been on this other side of too much money, you may not understand what I'm saying, because you'll be wondering, like, is it possible for you to have too much money? It's very possible, and it means you have enough resources, and your major concern is, how do I perpetuate this cash flow? How do I manage these resources coming very well so that I can keep flowing? Why for some others, they are still struggling to even have enough to spend. So a bulk of the challenges that we have in life has so much to do with money. That's why anytime the subject of wealth and money is being discussed, please never ignore it. Take it very seriously, because ignorance has always been the number one reason why people are poor. There's nothing like generational poverty. You came into this world to make a difference. So it doesn't matter if generations before you have been poor, you can rewrite the story when it comes to you. And what you need to rewrite the story is information. What you know keeps you ahead of the flow. So it's very important. And when you talk about knowledge, you never stop seeking. In fact, any area of life that you want to excel and be at the top, ensure that part-time you have read not less than the number of books that equates to your age. So if you are age 30, you should have read not less than 30 books when we're talking about wealth, when we're talking about money. And that's even at the minimum. At age 30, you should have read not less than 100. And I will explain to you why later, because it's very, very important. If you solve that problem, you crack that word code, over 90% of struggles, pressures around your life will suddenly disappear. If you check families today, a bulk of the pressures that people have in the home front comes from lack of money when there is no enough money. So that's why it is important to understand how to make money, how to manage money, and how to multiply money. Now, I want to lay this foundation for you to know. Nobody is responsible for you becoming wealthy, not even your employer. No employer has employed you to make you rich. Becoming wealthy is your personal responsibility. You must understand that and understand it very clearly. It is your personal responsibility to work out a wealth creation system for your life that keeps you ahead of financial pressures. And once you assume that responsibility, once you take it up, you discover that you begin to do things deliberately, because you have to be intentional when it comes to the issue of wealth creation. The reason why most people remain at the average level or below average when it comes to wealth creation is because they are never intentional about their wealth creation systems. So the things I'll be sharing with us today might not necessarily be new to you, but what I want to do is to propel you to become intentional about these things, to do them deliberately, to have a plan, to have a strategy. I want to help you see how we can put a structure in place that will help your finances grow, because whatever does not have structure does not have future. So if you want a future that is bright and colorful, that will create wealth for you, you need the right structure. You need to put the right structure in place. So glad that Mr. Wisdom Ezekiel already mentioned a few things about what I'm going to be talking about. So I'll just cap it off. Now, we want to start by defining what financial freedom is. Feel free to use the chat section. You can just drop what financial freedom means to you. You can just drop it there. Very important, because if you don't define it clearly, it means you don't even have idea of your destination. So when you get there, you won't even know. So those are part of the deliberate strategies I want to push us to begin to put in place. So you can write in the chat section, I want to see what is it that financial freedom means to you. When you hear the word financial freedom, what does it mean? And feel free to write, don't be intimidated. How much do you think you need for you to become financially free? Because we are trying to design a destination now. Because if you don't paint a picture of where you are going, you won't make deliberate effort to get there. It's just like getting out of your house and someone asks you, where are you going to? And you said you don't know, and you just bought a bus or you took your car and started driving around. You will never get to any destination because you have not set it clear. So it's important, because I'm going to be sharing a few experiences. For me, it all started with that definition, making it clear that I want to be rich, and a definition of what financial freedom means to me. That deliberate effort drove me or moved me to start putting plans in place. And I've had opportunity to share with people on some platforms. I've even come out with cardboards, books, everything that I used to design my wealth system when there was nothing. So it won't look as if whatever I'm telling you now, I'm telling you because I now have money or enough money to do them. No, I started practicing these things many years ago, and I have all the templates that I use that was designed, and it's all about being intentional. So you need to answer that question. What does financial freedom means to you? Let me see if we have one or two persons that have responded. Okay. Someone said being free from financial pressure. Okay. It's not about volume. To me, it means being able to not have to work again and still meet basic needs. Wow, you are right on point, Adiremi. Financial freedom for me means to have a system that generates constant income for me, so that I can even, okay, when I'm not working, I can, yeah. Now, to be sincere, almost every one of us here have so many comments. You have the right definition of financial freedom. It's a point you get to a stage in your life, even if you stop working for the rest of your life, you have enough income that will help you live the quality of life that you are living or that you lived while working. And I've come to discover that for some of us, what we actually need to become financially free is not something so bogus. For example, I hope you know if you have 1 billion naira today and you spend 50,000 every day on the 1 billion, in 50 years, you are not through spending the 1 billion naira. You spend 50,000 every day for the next 50 years. You have not exhausted 1 billion. And good enough, wise man already talked about you having the right mindset. So when you hear billion, don't mind me. When he was talking, I think he was being, he wasn't too generous with his figures. But please, I will be very generous mentioning those big figures, because that's where it all starts from. Your mind must be able to conceive it, then you can achieve it. So when we mention billions in dollars, don't get intimidated. It all starts from there. So you get 1 billion naira, for example. If you spend 50,000 naira every day, in the next 50 years, you are not done spending 1 billion naira. So if 1 billion naira is your destination, you want to begin to ask yourself, so how do I get to this destination? What structure am I supposed to put in place for me to get to this destination? For some others, it might be $1 billion. So you want to tell yourself that, okay, once I have $1 billion somewhere, I can say I am financially free. And you know the interesting thing, because talking about wealth system, the fact that you have accumulated $1 billion does not mean you will not keep earning. And that's why I want to talk about passive income now. That's an accumulated amount that has the potential to generate passive income for you. But if you don't define it clearly, you just keep going around the circle. You know what they call the rat race. You earn your income, you already have things you spend the money on, and it gets finished before the next one come, and you queue up again to get the next one, and you just keep going around that circle. Someone said even if you eventually win that race, it doesn't change the fact that you are still a rat. So why be a rat when you can be human? So you need to come out of what we call the rat race. And to come out, you need to understand the vehicles that will take you out of it. And I want to talk briefly about vehicles of wealth creation. Vehicles of wealth creation. Now, it has been said over and again that for anyone to become financially free, you need a minimum of 4 streams of income. Minimum. That is the minimum. You can have as much as you want to have, but you need a minimum of 4 streams of income. So that's why earlier, when the first speaker was talking about the fact that if salary is your only stream of income, then you will always remain in that state of struggle. No matter how much you earn, I told you no employer has employed you to make you rich. Becoming wealthy is your personal responsibility. And no matter how well your employer pays you, it can't pay you more than 20% of the value that you have added to his business. So if you add a value of $1 billion naira, the employer can't pay you more than 200 million naira. That is the most generous employer. An average employer will pay you between 5 to 10% of whatever value you have added. So it simply means whatever you have earned from that employment, it is your personal responsibility to know what to do with it so that it can move you to the next level. So talking about the vehicles of wealth creation, salary is the least of it. I told you you need to come out of the rat race, and you need vehicles. You need to move out of it. The first one is obviously salary. I don't have a problem with salary. I only have a problem with people that have salary mentality, because salary mentality will always box you. A good number of young people that we have in this part of the world today, the reason why they have not attained wealth is because they don't want to lose salary. So a young, intelligent man comes out from the university and is just afraid, no courage to start something new. So he's looking for a job offer or an offer that can pay steady salary, because I'm not cut out for suffering. So the guy does not want to suffer at all. So that's why, someone did an analysis, so funny, not always true, but if you look at the world, it looks like somehow true that in most cases, those guys that graduate from the university with first class, they end up working for those guys that graduated with second class, because the second class guys may not think they should go look for the best of jobs. They feel they might not get it, so they think of starting a business. So those businesses they start, they will become so wealthy that they will be able to employ those guys that graduated with first class. But you know, the funny part of it, especially in Nigeria, that analysis says most of the guys that now came out with third class, they will now govern over every other person. So the third class guys are not always the case. You know, I said that you find them in politics. So they make policies for this that determines what happens to the second class guy's business, and the second class guy determines the fate of the first class. So that happens, and we can see it practically in life. So I don't have a problem with salary. Stay on your job until you have a clear picture of what you need to do, or combine that your job now with other streams of income that we might be talking about. So salary is important. The next one is intellectual properties. Very important. The fact that, for example, you work in an institution, an academic institution, nothing stops you from putting into paper or use technology to develop materials that people can subscribe to from all over the world. Now, you have spent money, you have gone to school, you have gathered knowledge. What are you doing with the knowledge that you have? Apart from that, you can create platforms too, because the age we are in right now, they call it the knowledge economy. And you know, when we talk about knowledge economy, it talks about creating, evaluating, and trading knowledge. If you understand how to do this, you understand how to create knowledge, how to evaluate, and how to trade knowledge, you can't be poor in this economy. So what are the things that you have acquired? How can you make them available? Because the world right now belongs to platforms, not necessarily product and services. If you look at most of the businesses that are topping the league today, the most valuable businesses that we have today, in the last, let's say, 20 years ago, most of them, they've not been founded, but they created platforms, and these platforms turned out to create wealth for them. So you must be thinking in that direction. There is always a brainchild for everyone. We give birth to biological children, but we need to give birth to intellectual children too. That's what you call your brainchild. It can be in any sector, in any industry. All I know is that there is always something deposited in you that I need, and there is something that I have that you lack. So it works that way. Everyone needs brain children. And the good thing about that is when we're talking about passive income, you can generate an idea right now, and that idea keeps paying you passive income for life. If you look at some of those businesses I mentioned today, we operate in the real estate industry. Some of us, or a good number of us that knows Airbnb, if you talk about real estate in the world today, it's one of the most valuable companies in the real estate sector. And yet they don't own properties. They don't build houses. They created platforms. Most of us, we talk about Uber. We even use their services. Uber don't own cars. They created platforms. So a bulk of the business is doing well today. They created platforms. So don't joke with intellectual property. Keep thinking, what brainchild can I give back to that we keep income flowing to me? Then the third, when it comes to vehicles of wealth creation, is you owning a business, entrepreneurship. That is very important. For me, I think that that comes to the top. Take it or leave it. A good number of the people that you know that are extremely wealthy today, if you pick Forbes magazine today, and you want to look at the wealthiest people in the world, you hardly find someone that is an employee there. It's always a business owners. So if your goal is to become wealthy, crack the code once and for all, you must be thinking business. Of course, we have been told that you don't have to start one. You can also collaborate with people. That just makes it interesting, because if you don't understand this principle of having a percentage of something big than owning everything of something small, you keep struggling for life. If you have 10% of a billion naira, is better than 100% of 1 million. 100% of 1 million is 1 million. But 10% of a billion is 100 million. You must understand the power of collaboration. Someone said in this age, part of the problem we have is that we keep competing with people we should be collaborating with. We need to come together, and that's I've done a lot of studies about wealth system in Africa, comparing it with some parts of the world that are better developed. And I observed that one primary thing that is lacking in Africa is collaboration. We don't have enough platforms for collaboration. And that's why we are where we are today. Things keeps going southwards because we don't collaborate. Very important. So you must be thinking of starting a business. Now, I want to close with, now that you have these vehicles, you can pick anyone, but you know that if you pick salary as a vehicle to wealth creation, I'm not saying you will never get there, but it will take you a long time. So if you were to travel from, let's say, Lagos to Abuja, and you decide to go with a bicycle, definitely, if you have the strength and energy, someday you will get to Abuja, but you know how long it will take. You can choose to go with a car also. Why not? You get there in some hours. But if you fly in less than 1 hour, maximum 1 hour, you're in Abuja from Lagos. That's to let you know that when you're choosing your vehicle, you have to choose the right one, because if you decide to go with bicycle, you will get there, but you know it's going to be tiring. It's going to take a lot of time for you to get there. So I like you to choose wisely, and as you plot your graph towards wealth creation, know which vehicle you should work with. Now, how do you make money and multiply money? I'm going to close with that, and just a little on passive income, which is the primary subject of our discussion. When we talk about making money, all of the vehicles of wealth creation that I mentioned earlier, they are meant for making money. But it is not how much you make that will determine how wealthy you will become. It is what you do with what came to you. The wealth creation system that you have put in place that will determine how wealthy you will become eventually. So everything we mentioned earlier talks about making money. But how do you manage money? We've talked about putting structures in place, having a plan. So, you know, initially when I started this conversation, I said you should make your destination clear. The next thing is, how will I get to this destination? You must be able to draw it out clearly. Now, if you want to become wealthy, there is the foundation that is very, very important. And the number one thing is that you must learn to spend less than you earn. No matter how small what you earn. Your salary might be 30,000 today, and it can be 500,000 or 1 million or 5 million. Regardless of what you earn, ensure you spend less than you earn. Very important. Now, some of us might struggle with this for so many months, but no matter how long you struggle with it, the day you decide to take it seriously, that's the day you become free from financial struggles. I know it takes a lot of discipline to do it, especially when your income looks too low. But I hope you understand that no matter how high you earn, your expenses will always rise up to match up with your income. Especially if you live in Africa, where the kind, you know, what the ecosystem talks about is a communal thing, your family, your brother, your this. So you have so many things to spend money on. And if care is not taken, you might want to assume the position of Jehovah Jireh, the position of El Shaddai. But you are not God. You can't play God in people's life. You know, someone says if you want to assume the position of El Shaddai, that you shall die. You know, it's not you are there to add value to life. For me, that's what I live for, adding value to people. One of the reasons why as a business we started going in for wealth creation, it wasn't because of ourselves. We wanted to become wealthy. But the point at which we cracked, for us, this wealth code was a point when we realized that we should not struggle to become wealthy. Our focus should be about how to make millionaires out of people. So all our plans, all our strategies, everything we started doing from that point wasn't about us any longer. We started thinking about people. That's why when you look at our business, our mission, our vision, everything we do, the word people keep reoccurring. That for us, that was the point. That was the turning point when we told ourselves we are not in business to make money for ourselves. We want to make millionaires. But we did that with understanding that you cannot make millionaires and you will not be a millionaire. It's not possible. So we started doing everything to help people become rich. So when we talk about managing money, it starts with saving. ensure that you spend less than you earn. No matter how small, even if it's 10%, whatever of whatever you earn must always go into savings. For us, what we have done is we practice these things over the years, but we discovered that the more we were teaching this thing, people kept asking us, okay, where do we do all of these things? So we started creating platforms. We have Petty Save. If you download the app Petty Save, that app is so simple and it makes it easy for you to save, because all you do is register, you have your card on it, and you set a minimum amount as low as 100 naira, and the platform debits you. That's the way to save without struggle. At least start from there, even if it's 100 naira. I'm talking about those that are really at the very lower level of the ladder. But for some of us, it might be 1,000, it can be 5,000, 10,000. Just ensure that you have taxed yourself, no matter how small, something is going into savings. Then you have begun your journey toward creation. Once you overcome that, you know, in life, they say there are two kinds of discipline, two types of regrets. You have the one that comes, sorry, I'm trying to talk about, okay, the discipline and regrets. There's something I'm trying to bring out from there. Pain, yeah, there's the pain of discipline and there's the pain of regret. Now, the pain of discipline is that money you are earning now, you disciplined yourself and you started saving from it. It's not convenient, but you just have to do it. And later, you'll be happy you did. But the pain of regret is you are earning now, you said the money is too small, then you are not doing anything. Many years from now, you regret not doing anything. So the pain of discipline and the pain of regret, those are the two kinds of pains we have in life. So ensure that you register on the Petty Save platform if you can, and start saving no matter how small. That's the first step. After savings, when we talk about managing wealth, we'll move to investment, because you might feel you don't have enough to invest, because most platforms might not make provision for the little resources you have. But when you save enough, you can move it to investment. That's why we have platforms like Reinvest. Petty Save also have investment options for you. Like I said, we have been teaching these things over the years. The only place I worked post-graduation happens to be a fund management company. So I've been into financial planning for a good number of years now. So whatever I'm telling you, these are things that I've practiced over the years, but we only created platforms to help people do it. So if you visit reinvest.ng, you see options for you to invest. Very important. And when we now talk about investment, it can now come in different forms, because that is the actual way to multiply your money. We have talked about making the money. When we talk about managing the money, when it comes, you're able to appropriate it rightly. This percentage goes into savings. This percentage goes into investment. This percentage goes into other areas of your life. Then you are able to think of, okay, the ones that have gone into savings and investment, how do we get to multiply them? So let's move to multiplying money as I close right now. When we talk about multiplying money, it can be done in several ways. And that's where passive income plays its own role. Of course, earlier, you remember I talked about starting a business and having, intellectual properties. All of this can help you create passive income. Just like it has been analyzed earlier. For example, you have real estate, you have stocks, you have investment in various opportunities that are available either in the money or the capital market, and all you did was to put money there once, and it keeps generating returns for you. But when it comes to business, you can create business system, and that's the most reliable when it comes to passive income. Creating a business system that can operate without you. I know it takes a lot of hard work to do that. That's why I see a lot of people today that they say they're entrepreneurs, and I question if they are truly entrepreneurs, because they are self-employed people. They keep struggling. So rather than create multiple streams of income, what they have done for themselves is creating multiple streams of struggle, because they keep working hard. The business cannot thrive without them. So when they are sick, the business is sick. When they travel, the business has traveled. Whatever goes wrong with them affects the business. That's not the kind of business that creates passive income for you. The kind of business that can create passive income is a business that you have created system, save yourself time, energy, and money, take stress out of your life. That is putting system around your business. Today is not the day to discuss that. So I know on other platform we can get to discuss how to systemize your business. Very important, because that's part of the major challenge people have today. They start businesses, but they keep struggling. They can't earn passive income because they just have to be there. I've been out of the country for almost 5 months now, and my income has not dropped one bit. Rather, it's been increasing. And it's simple. I've mastered the art of creating systems. While out of the country, I've started businesses. The other time I was talking about a problem of too much money. You may not understand. Okay, I started a business while out of the country, and in less than 3 months, the kind of resources that has coming from that business started giving me challenge of, okay, the challenge now is, okay, where are we going to deploy these resources, especially in this time of lockdown and like that. So it does happen. Why? Now, I wasn't on ground. The business was started in Nigeria, but yet it's generating so much income that I have to be thinking of places to deploy the resources so that we can multiply it and make it passive. So that's the power of creating business systems. You can be anywhere in the world and yet your business is growing. Of course, technology has made that very easy too. That's why at Pertinence Group, many years ago, we started telling ourselves, whatever we do as an organization, we must look at how we can deploy technology. We started a business, Data First Technology. And I want to challenge you to, whatever you do, please ensure that you leverage on technology, because that's how you can be, you know, the world has become a global village, you know, and the internet or technology is the market square that we all meet. So it's important. For us, we started Data First for that purpose. So everything we do now is driven by technology. I want to challenge you also, if you have business ideas, you don't have to be the technology guy. We have companies like Data First you can go to. They can help you think through the process and introduce technology into what you do. PettySafe that we have today, many years ago, we started it about 9 years ago. And when we started, it doesn't have technology platform. And our growth was limited. But now that we have technology driving PettySafe, it's been phenomenal what we have been experiencing in the last few months. So when we talk about multiplying your money, those are things that can help you multiply money. When at the Pertinence Group, we have Pertinence Limited and Pertinence Properties Limited. It's into real estate. We have a couple of properties here and there where people pay us rent, and that's a form of passive income. We built them once, and rent has been coming over the years. That's all you should be thinking about when it comes to multiplying money. Now you have made the money, you have put structure in place to manage the money. You must be looking at places to plug this money. So, like I said when I was starting, as I'm rounding up right now, some of the things I'll be saying are not entirely new to you. What I've come to do is to push you to become intentional about doing these things. For example, if you have not started savings before, today look at PettySafe platform, download the app and start saving. If you don't have any investment at all anywhere, I'm introducing our own platforms. There are other platforms you can also take advantage of. But it's one thing to teach you or talk to you about this. It's another thing to also push you to start doing something, because no matter how good your strategy, if you are not executing, it's just a waste of time. You just keep analyzing. You know, someone said too much analysis will lead to paralysis. So it's not just about talk. I want you to walk the talk. That's why I'm talking about things that you can do. When it comes to home ownership, for example, we have a platform on HomeVest that you can also take advantage of. What is most important is that all that you have had today, you find a way of putting them into practice. I'm an advocate for action. I'm an advocate for practicing. That's why when I teach, I try to be as practical as possible. I make illustration, I give example, I share my personal story, because I know that there are things I will talk to you about today that you might forget, but the stories I share with you will remain with you. The examples I give will remain with you. So as I close right now, I want to challenge every one of us on this platform. Sit down, draw out a plan, design your destination, choose the vehicle you want to use to get to that destination, and zoom now. So on this note, I want to say a very big thank you to every one of us for listening to me. And I believe that 5 years down the line, by the time we are meeting to review what we have discussed today, your finances would have turned around, because I have this belief that whatever you want to achieve in life, you need maximum 5 years. If you stay consistently with anything for 5 years, doing it without breaking, committedly, definitely you achieve it. So if the next 5 years you want to be financially free, you want to create a wealth system that will give you passive income. Now listen to me, just go and practice this simple thing. It's as simple as that. Just stay committed to it. In 5 years, by the time we are reviewing and we are discussing, you'll be amazed by the kind of progress that you have experienced. And together we'll be thanking God. On this note, I want to hand over to Dr. Stephen. Thank you very much for having me. And I celebrate.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please click the raise hand button in the sign of appreciation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We are not done yet.
Great.
Yes, that's the wise man.
That's why I say people should allow me to speak after him, so that I will repeat all the things he has said.
But it was good that you
It
came
is
up.
well.
Thank you so much.
All
Yes.
right.
All right, so we are going into like a brief fireside chat session, after which we'll take the questions of our participants. So to our participants, I want to encourage you. We have 6 questions here already. If you know you have questions, kindly use the Q&A button. We'll take those questions as soon as we are done with the fireside chat session now. So now I'm addressing 2 of you now. I don't know who is going to come first, whether the wise man or Mr. Sunday Olorunsheyi. 12 years ago, there was a place that you were in. Inside you, you know, you had the wealth. You had the wealth mentality, but outside, no sign, nothing. There was no, anybody looking at you will just be pitying you. I mean, I remember when you were talking about that, your office, one small shop that you see divided into 2, one side for training, one side for, so I mean, like 2012, people seeing you, they are pitying you because they're wondering, but inside you, there was a dream, there was a drive, plenty of money inside. So how did you go from that point? Fast forward now, 8 years time from now. I mean, from then, 8 years from 2012 to now. I mean, you've been able to build a fortune. Can you just briefly help us understand that story, so that at least we all can learn, including the participants, to say, okay, no matter where I am now, I should be able to say 5 years time to 8 years time from now, I can also redesign my own future. So it's better to be in a brighter place 5 years time from now than to get to 5 years time from now and say we are still at the same level, which is quite wasteful. It means we've wasted our time here so far. So, and I'm saying this so that the participants can know that, yes, it's possible to actually make something happen in max of 5 years if you are deliberate about it. So I don't know who's going to go first. How did you go from that level?
Him also go first.
Okay, the wise man.
Okay. I'm trying to use wisdom here, but you are not allowing the wisdom to work. Okay. I think 12 years ago, I think Sunday and I were, that's about the time you got married, isn't it? Yeah. So, and we attended the wedding. The wedding was well attended. It was done in an uncompleted building. It was a well attended wedding, but you will see that it was a wedding that must happen. It's not a wedding that was to be a place where you go and say everything is there. You know, just a wedding that must happen. And I know I went there single. When I saw my picture on that wedding, I was feeling that was not me. It must be someone else that attended that wedding. Because I was looking, you know, Sunday used to be fatter than me before I took over. Now when people see us, they'll say, now me I'm fat. It's not as fat as me. He used to be fatter than me then. You know, my neck was very long. But we thank God it's been a process. But you know something? Many years ago, I think this was about 17, 18 years ago, somebody saw me, and I was carrying, let's say like 15 years ago, I was carrying Money Wise magazine. That was many years ago. That was when the capital market was doing very well. You know, Money Wise was one of our resources where we get Stock Watch, Money Wise, think this one that is done by this man that owned Complete Sport also. Those were the papers who were buying. We buy magazines so that we can be current. So somebody saw me, one guy, particular guy, the guy is late now. He saw me and he said, Wisdom, that this thing I saw, this thing I see that you are carrying, and I'm only seeing you reading one thing or the other, trying to get one information or the other. He said, if you continue in this line, that I can assure you the future is bright for you, that I don't have a doubt that you become wealthy. And I smiled. I said, well, that is really true. Just like our Papa would say that we're not surprised about where we are now. We would have been surprised if we were not here, because the effort that has been put in place to be able to be here, it's all the grace of God, really. But the grace of God is upon some people and they have not acted. Just like Sunday said, action is very important. You must take consistent action. We are not overnight success. We are people who have gone through process. We are people who have gone through different challenges in life that has now built us to the kind of people we have become right now. But the constant thing is that we keep moving, we keep advancing, we keep, pushing the frontiers, ensuring that we innovate, we bring up new things. That is the way to go. Anyone who will not give up, one day will scale up. If you will not give up, you will scale up. So the journey has been a journey of vision. Even right there and then, we had vision. One of the things that happened to us early was the fact that we connected to a positive circle on time in our lives. So myself, Sunday, and a couple of our friends were a very inspiring circle. We'll sit down and all what we talk about is the future. This is how our future would be like. This is how our future would be like. And not one of us among that circle is struggling today. All of us are wealthy and we're controlling things in their billions. Now, that's because we found that circle, we envisioned where we're going, and we stick to it. But the thing, again, about when you have envisioned something and you're in the process, is commitment. A lot of people have vision. A lot of people have dreams and aspirations, but just very few people are committed to it. Sunday and I were so committed to the business, especially at the early stage, that some people were mocking us. We had a landlord those days, that place where Sunday described to you that we used to use as our office. The landlord came out one day and called us nuisance. These guys are nuisance. That was what he said, literally. These guys are nuisance. Now, why did he call us nuisance? Because he saw that we'll be the first people to open shop, we'll be the last people to close shop. We are always sitting down to strategize, doing meetings, putting things in place. He's always looking at us. We'll gather people, we'll be telling them how the company is going to grow big inside one small shop. And he's looking at us like, I have been in this shop for many years, and I am even better than you people. I don't talk the way you people talk. How come you people have this audacity of speech that you are talking like this? And it felt like you guys are not serious. You are nuisance. Well, fast forward many years later, there was a building I wanted to buy, and I was discussing with him about the building, and he was the person in charge. The owner handed the building over to him because he was a lawyer, or he's a lawyer, and he wanted to sell the building. And we're talking in hundreds of, in tens of millions, and he was just looking. I think by that time he would have swallowed his words. Even right now, by the time he sees us, he will know that many things have changed. So what am I saying in essence? It doesn't matter the kind of dream you have. Dream is consistent. It doesn't matter the kind of aspiration you have. Aspiration is consistent. But much more important is the commitment to ensuring that those things come to pass. Because you can be looking at dream, and dream will just become nightmares. So one of the things that helps you is the commitment to it. So that's what has helped us over the years. We started Pertinence Group. We're just trying to struggle. At first, we wanted to just become rich. Along the line, we discovered that it's not about becoming rich. It's about making other people rich. That was where we discovered purpose, we discovered vision, and we started championing the cause of ensuring that we turn multimillionaires of many people who come around us. And that was the point of transformation for us. And fast forward many years later, is now a group of company that has about 6 going to 7 subsidiaries right now, and in a couple of years' time, we'll have even gone even much more than that. Right now, we're focusing on the global space. That's why we're expanding to different countries of the world. And that's what God has done for us, really. But it took our availability in the process to be able to make that happen. I don't like to talk too much. Let me allow Sunday to continue from where I stopped.
Okay. Thank you. I think he has said the basic things. You know who talks more now. Anyway, for me, he has addressed it. The God factor, we can put that aside as far as we're concerned. Growing up in business, what we will not fail to do up till now is to create time to retreat at least once every 3 months. And we do that to reflect on what we have been through in the business and to chart a new course forward. Very important. And on that platform, we receive inspiration, because take it or leave it, something must be driving you. So for us, we have God driving us, and we don't shy about it. We talk about it everywhere. We are never apologetic about the fact that we have a God. You know, when people see some of the things we have done, they keep asking, so who is your Godfather? And we tell them we have Godfather. God the Father is our Godfather, and is being the one driving us, and we cannot put that aside. But to be sincere, with that is also resilience. We've got a lot of resilience, and I think that's what most entrepreneurs lack. So once you start something and it's not working, you're already thinking of what else to start again, and it's not working, so you keep moving. So what you started 2 years ago, some of the people you spoke to, they wanted to buy, but they cannot buy. You know, when you talk to people about your product, there are people that you will tell that they want to buy, but they don't have what it takes to buy, maybe resources as at that time. If you remain, it's just a matter of time. They will be there to buy from you or to buy into you. There are some people you speak to that they can buy, but they will not buy because they don't just want to buy. Ignore those people. And there are people you speak to that at the point you are talking to them, they can buy, and they just bought into it immediately. So you must understand that a bulk of them might belong to the class of people that really want to buy into you, but that when you were speaking, they don't have the resources. They're only over a period of time. If you remain consistent, this same crowd will come after you and help you grow in whatever you are doing. So for us, I think resilience, we saw failure as just an event. So we saw ourselves as success personified. Even when we were wallowing in poverty and things weren't working, that mentality of who we are never left us. So we kept our eyes focused on our goal. This is where we're going to. So that's why when you see us talk to people about the future, they get embarrassed. We so internalize our destination that when we talk about it, if you are not somebody that understands what we are saying, sincerely at that point, you feel we're arrogant, we're proud, or what are these guys talking about? We had just one car then, and sincerely, that my car, I should have kept it in the museum, you know. I don't know. But one of the things that took the car was also sacrifice, because I also gave it out, you know, when we got to church and they said, you have to give something and like that. And I got convinced that's only car we're using for the business. I called, I said, see, I know this is the car we are managing, but I'm being led to sell this car now. And you know, those are many sacrifices. We can't deny, you know, they say the secret of great men is in their stories. So you need to listen to our giving lifestyle too. Sincerely, when it comes to giving, we are, I don't want to use the word crazy. We give unapologetically, as in we're committed to sowing too. And you need to listen to the first car I ever bought, I sold it. My second car, I sold. So that's, as in when I not sold, so as in gave it. That's the mentality with which we operate. I looked at my house sometimes ago, I said, I think it's only furniture that I've never sold. But when it comes to television, refrigerator, you know, those were the process we were growing. So I won't deny the fact that we were resilient and we're committed to giving to others too. These principles, as you practice them and you stay consistent, you will definitely get to your destination.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sonoloreshe and the wise man. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to ask a few questions, then we'll go straight to the questions of our participants. So, okay, maybe before I ask the question, I would like to give like a background, maybe what is informing me to ask this question. So about last year, I noticed a number of persons who I just sensed that a number of persons were having issues financially, at least the habits aspect. It's not that maybe they had so much money and all that, but I just had this belief because I started to master the belief that true wealth it's not, until you have the cash there. It begins from inside, like I heard in the sessions of both of you. So I knew that we needed to create that platform to begin to share knowledge. So I started the group called Wealth Builders. Just about 12 of us, we came together. And the mission of that was for me to ensure that each one is building his wealth mindset. And so we're sharing, lots of information to build our wealth mindset, what exactly successful persons were doing. But in order to sustain that process, we decided to commit ourselves to it. So I said, okay, so every month we commit to put in a certain amount every month. And this is not a joy. I believe a joy is a poverty mindset. So people put resources together, and at the end of the month, they take it, give somebody else who's obviously going to spend it on something or acquire liability in the name of that he or she is acquiring an asset. So we said, as we pull these resources together, all we're thinking about this money is where we're going to invest it. And the goal is for us to learn and to practice, learn and practice until it becomes a habit. So from the process, we've seen people really save and increase and also master the habit. I mean, I've seen this really work. And I looked at that few numbers, that particular limited number. But from that process, having conversations with others, I discovered a number of things that persons are skeptical about investing or starting a business. Starting a business, it might fail. Investing somewhere, it might not work. For some, not because investment doesn't work, but possibly because maybe they were not knowledgeable enough to invest in the right place or they didn't plan effectively well. So this is the question. What are the red flags that people should look out for before they invest? What's the green flag? What's the red flag? What should we look out for before we invest? Because lots of scammers are in town. We've heard a session now on cracking the wealth code. And for somebody who is already working somewhere and wants to still continue the work, but wants to have a passive income, will be looking for where to save or invest whatever he or she has saved over time, and to make sure that that saving is working and producing the second generation and the third generation. But what usually withholds certain persons back is, oh, this is a scam, or this might not work. What are the green lights? How do we know that this is not a scam? What should we be looking out for before we even invest? What should we look out for? So that's the question. I see the two of you. So whoever is coming up first. Or we should just follow the same pattern, the wise man first.
Maybe I should come first now. So
Please come on first, please.
all right. When you talk about starting a business or investing and you want to know the red flags and the green lights, what are you supposed to do? When it comes to starting a business, I believe one of the major problems people have today is the fact that they don't have enough information about the business they are going into. So you want to go into a business that you don't understand. You're only going into it because you see that people are making money from it. So somebody sells noodles down the street and you see people gathering there to buy noodles, and you just feel the next business to start is to start selling noodles. It doesn't work that way. So if you are starting a business, you must first identify your uniqueness, because that's what people will buy into. That's what people will buy into. Even if it's a new idea, right from the beginning, set out your USP, your unique selling proposition. What is it that you'll be known for doing that business? That's very important, because whenever that thing fails, that's what we keep helping you to sell. Now, once you get that very clear, ensure that before you go into any business, you do enough research. The greatest form of laziness is laziness of the mind. If you can overcome laziness of the mind, you won't be seen as a lazy man, because once your mind is empowered and you're able to create resources around yourself, nobody calls you lazy any longer because you have success stories to share. So overcome that laziness of the mind by ensuring that you engage in research. Any new business you want to go into, you must be able to ensure that before you start at all, you are seeing the money. That's the best way to succeed in business. See the money before you even start making the money. And that can only come by research. You do your research to a point that you can say categorically that demand will be higher than supply in this business I want to go into. So that way, if you are looking at maybe collaborating with people, it's easier to get people to come on board to do the business with you. Once you get these two things clear, it makes it easy for you to start a business. That way you know that, but the red flags are, okay, you want to start a business, you don't have enough knowledge, you don't have enough information. It's most likely that that business will fail. Then when it comes to investment, very important. If you want to partner with people, I think one, apart from the fact that you see prospect, of course you look at prospect, but also you look at track record too, because now you want to invest with a company, you want to ask yourself, is it the track record of the company or the track record of the owners of the company? I've shared on several platforms, I talked about collaboration earlier, and we see so many people in Africa today that want to invest, and you only want to invest in people that have succeeded. However, there are many startups around you that you should invest in that even has potential to grow your money better. But because you don't understand that principle, and because of our kind of environment, trust has been bastardized. For example, one of the good things about us is that we don't only share our successes in business. We talk about our failures. We have had to fail so many times. For me, one of the areas I've failed in time past is not investing in the right people. It has happened, and now I've learned through the process, and I'm doing better when it comes to investing in people. So when you look at companies, it's like you look at the track record of the company or track record of the people running the company. For startups, you want to look at track record of the person running the company. As the person always been a person of integrity, because it's very important. You want to invest in something. You don't want the business to succeed eventually, and the person is edging you out. There's the fear of what if the business does not succeed? That's a different one. But there's also the fear, what if the business succeeds and this person edges me out? So you want to look at that person's track record. And I talk about integrity from this perspective. It takes not less than 10 to 15 years for people to say you are really a person of integrity. So keep working hard. You need that length of years. You have gone to secondary school, you went to university, and now you are working, maybe a total of 15 years. And the guys in your secondary school meet with the guys from your university days, and the guys that you are working with, they don't know themselves. They just met on the platform, and they all talked about you. And while they were discussing you, they said the same thing as far as integrity. Oh, I know that guy is a person of integrity. So secondary school, university, and you are working. That's just an example. It doesn't have to be that long for you to trust you. I'm only letting you know that it can take that long for you to attain that status that people can trust you. So if you have people like that starting business, you want to be comfortable doing business with them because they have a track record. Or businesses that have succeeded, they have a track record of keeping to their words. Once you're able to merge these two together, it helps you see, should I invest? And it still goes back to you doing investigation. I think that's part of the problem we have in Africa. We want to do things. We don't take our time to investigate. You don't check reviews. You don't check out things to know. We only look at flashy things. So once it promises huge interest, you go for it. It's not just about the interest. The ones those companies promised before, did they fulfill it? And once you have that clear, and for us, if for many years, when people ask us, what is it that we brag about? As far as pertinence is concerned, we brag about our integrity. We brag about the fact that we built the business on the platform of trust. People started trusting us with little resources, 5 naira, 10 naira, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. And today we have had single individuals do business of 100 million, 50 million with us without blinking an eye. People we don't even know. All they did is the research or someone referred. That's the power of referral. Someone just say, these guys, forget them. Put your money there, go and rest. And we have a number of them coming around today. But it took a good number of years for us to build that credibility. So once you check out track record, don't go for just interest. The interest or whatever, the ROI might look good, but check out track record. Once the track record is good and you can see potential, that's prospect in terms of what the business is all about. Because let me just close with this. One of the signs of a good investor or an entrepreneur is the ability to sense and interpret disruptions. Now, in this age and time, you have to be very careful where you are investing in, because this jet age, things are changing every day. It's no longer the age where the big swallows the small. It is now the fast that swallows the slow. They eat up the slow. So the business can look big. They've been there for many years. That's not the reason to invest there. Are they innovating? Are they changing? is the rate of change inside more than the rate of change happening externally. Because if that is not happen, it's going to be a big challenge. So I just had to touch different areas, and I believe we can work on that to decide on places to invest.
Thank you so much, sir.
So you see the reason why he has to speak before me. So let me now repeat the things he has said. All right. Just to a few additions to what he has said. He has said it perfectly well, because when you look at business, you look at investment, they are all risk. Business is risk, investment is risk. But not doing business or doing investment because of risk means even carrying bigger risk. So it's riskier not to risk. So many years ago, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates had an exclusive interview with, I think it was a Harvard organized interview, more like a chat, and it was basically students that were there. And they asked Warren Buffett that what were the investment decisions that he regrets ever doing. And he said, having done investment over the years, that he has come to realize that you don't regret any investment. Any investment that goes wrong is more like you have paid school fees to learn something new. So that for him, he has never regretted any investment decision. But that there are a few decisions that he was not fast enough to take. And that one of them is sitting with him right now, that when the IT wave started, the .com millionaires started coming up, that he never really believed that they were going to make so much money. That if he knew, he would have pumped a lot of money into Microsoft, pumped a lot of money into all these .com companies and all that. Now, one of the things you must consider in the area of investment or business is the character of the people involved. When Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook, if he had just come to discuss with an average investor who has serious money to invest, they probably would not have listened to him. They probably would not even think that he has anything to offer. But I think you need to look at the character of the people who are pioneering anything you want to put your money into. For instance, myself and Sunday, when we started the business, we had a couple of people who gave us money. And they did not give us money because we had anything, because there was nothing on ground. In fact, it was their money. We used to go and do some office setup. We used to do one or two putting up things to ensure that we are looking good as business people. So it wasn't as if we had good office. It wasn't as if we had one big account somewhere. We're not. It was character. It was the fact that we're people of integrity over the years who have been able to display our integrity, and they feel that these people are people I can trust. And one of the things we have done over the years is to ensure that investors' funds are well secured. We will do everything in our power to ensure that nothing happens to investors' fund. It has been our unique selling point over the years, so, and that will continue forever, because the shortest way to have a bad name is to lose your investors' fund. Warren Buffett will always write a letter to all his CEOs every year, and there are 2 points he usually talk to them about. He said, number one, never lose your investors' fund. Number two, remember number one. So at the end of the day, it's all saying don't lose your investors' fund, because that's the fastest way to lose trust. So one of the ways to determine where you invest is look at the character of the people involved. The person might not have structure now, but has a character to have structure. The person, there are some people you have invested in their business. They had structure, they have everything, but their character was going to destroy the structure in a few years' time. The way they behave, the way they are doing business, their mentality will destroy the business in a few years' time. I've seen people who started businesses that grew to multi-billions and the business came crashing. Why? Because of the character of the person who were involved in the business. I'm talking about practical one that we saw, myself and Sunday experienced it, multi-billions that came down to nothing just because of the character of the person who was pioneering the business. So character is very important, and that's the only thing I just want to add with my few words.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I'll just take one more question, then I will now go to the participants one. Well, it's not maybe it's sort of a question anyway. So you are into real estate, and me personally, I've been thinking of how I can take advantage of real estate as a platform to begin to generate income as passive income. So I think it was last year that I had this discussion with Damilari. I was just asking him. You see that Pertinence doesn't have any platform that could allow people to put maybe 50,000, 100,000, something every month, just to ensure that asset acquisition is kind of like easier. Because anytime I see the brochure, I'm seeing land 50 million, land 7 million, land 7 million, and all that. I think it was recently he now told me about HomeVest, about a particular product that someone can easily maybe put like 50,000 every month or something like that, then onto a particular year, just to make home ownership easy. Because I'm just thinking for someone who is earning like say 150, 200 or something, each person should at least have a comfortable means of acquiring the assets in base like that, making the sacrifices for ownership. So he told me about the HomeVest. Maybe you would like to tell me more about HomeVest, and so our participants too can also learn a part of it. And I'm saying this for a particular reason. So for some of the audience, some are academics, some are admin persons, and possibly they also have the plans to own something without having to struggle to save something. Because I've met a number of persons that they always say, when I have these millions, I'll buy it. When I have this money, I'll buy the land, or I'll buy the house, or I'll buy the property and I'll begin to develop it. But how can each one start from where he or she is with that 50,000 or with that 75,000 or with that 100,000? Just to begin to build something. So maybe you want to tell us a bit about it before we go to the Q&A session.
Okay. For RealVest is a platform, HomeVest is home ownership made simple, made easy. Earlier, I talked about the fact that there were things we started teaching for up to a decade now, and we observed that it's one thing to teach, it's another thing to create platforms. For close to a decade, we have been telling people you can start your home ownership process with just 50,000, and people have doubted it. Some people believed they worked with it, they've built their houses. We now said, okay, let's even bring it closer to people by creating a system that looks tangible, that looks real, so that they can see that what we have been saying over the years, you can start from somewhere. It will interest you to know that everything that you walk through a process with, you can always tell how you made it happen, and you can do it over and again. What we're just telling people is that it doesn't have to be big. One of the houses I live in Lagos, I remember when we started building the house, it was just with 250,000. But it ended up to be a multi-million naira house. You understand? At the end of the right now, it's valued as maybe close to 100 million naira. But it started with just 250,000 naira many years ago when it was to be built. What I'm just trying to say is start from where you are. So it wasn't as if I had 40 million and I said, now I'm ready to build the house. But I understood that process. So I committed the 250,000. And it might interest you to know that it was built in 7 months at the end of the day. Because whatever you start, some way, somehow, you just see the resources start coming from different places. And because you have a clear destination, you start committing resources towards it. So HomeVest is just to challenge you to start. We made it easy such that as a young person, maybe you are not married and you just need a 1-bedroom apartment, or your parlor, your bedroom, your kitchen, and whatever ensued, you can get it with less than 5 million. If you check brochure, I think with 4.6 million about that we have on the brochure. I'm not sure of the figure on top of it, but less than 5 million you can get. You also have your 2-bedroom apartment that is coming at 6 point something million, while the 3-bedroom is like maybe 8.4. And what do? You pay for the 1-bedroom is 50,000 per month spread over 7 years. For the 2-bedroom is 75,000 per month spread over 7 years. For the 3-bedroom is 100,000 per month spread over 7 years. And we made it easy for people by building these houses. So we have houses to show even before we start collecting money from anybody. So we have some houses on ground already. so that it's more believable when you can see the house you are even paying for. So that way, for those that even have money to pay upfront, once you pay up to 50%, you have access to the key to your house. What we're just trying to do is to make it easier for people. We travel. We have organized seminars in different parts of the world when it comes to real estate. We've done seminars in the United States. We have done in United Kingdom. We have done in Dubai. Different parts. We have traveled France, Canada, everywhere. And we keep talking about real estate. But we discovered that in most of these places, they made it easy for people because the mortgage system there works. But since it's not working the way it should work in Nigeria, we felt, okay, we can be a part of that solution. If we cannot do 10 years, 20 years, at least let's do 7 years. We can celebrate that we are one of the few private businesses that will allow people to pay for a house over 7 years. And we are saying even once you pay up to 50% of the money, you can move into the house while you continue paying for the house. And that's what makes it unique. You don't have to complete the payment. Once you make up to 50%, you move in and you continue paying. So that's what HomeVest is all about. And we have in several locations. What we did, we ran a survey before we started HomeVest for people to tell us the amount of money they have if they were to buy a house right now, how they will want to pay, and which location they will want. So based on that survey, we decided the locations to start with based on demand. So right now, our survey is still ongoing. We'll still send more so that we can see more locations where we can open. But for now, we started with Mowe, Ibejuleki, somewhere in Abuja, that's Gogolada. We have Ilorin also, we have Owerri, and we have Ogbomoso in Oyo State, just to ensure that we are solving the problem across the nation. So the thing about owning a house, your first house does not have to be your dream house. Your dream house might be in Banana Island. And just like one of my guys will say, start from Cassava Island. From Cassava Island, you can move to Banana Island. Start from somewhere. So let your first house, it can be in Cassava Island. I know your dream house is in Banana Island, but start from somewhere. Start with HomeVest now.
Thank you so much, sir. That's really awesome. So I'm just trying to look at it now. So instead of say paying rent, so it means for the 50,000, because I had the privilege of seeing the brochure Damlari sent me. So I had the privilege of seeing it. I saw 50,000 a month for I think the 1 bedroom, then 75,000 a month for the 2 bedroom, and 100,000 a month for the 3 bedroom, spread over 7 years, right? And then it's yours 100%. So this amount is just like so it's like you're paying rent, and at the end of the month you are done. I mean, at the end of the 7 years you are done paying for the rent, and now it's your house, kind of thing. Nice. Thank you for that initiative. Let me not be selfish. Let me just look at some of the participants' questions. You see the Q&A button. Please, can you also click it? You can see it in front of you. I don't know how you would like to answer the questions. I know both of you think alike, so let me see how we're going to go with this. But the first one is by Angela Oluwa EIG Dagba. How do you decide the level of risk to take when investing? I don't know who's going to take that. How do you decide the level of risk to take when investing?
Okay, when it comes to risk is consistent, but the approach to risk will have to be based on your risk appetite. There are some of us that when we lose money, we feel it's part of the process and it doesn't pain us. But some people, when they lose money, they can die. So you have to analyze who you are to be able to know what kind of risks you are able to, get yourself involved in. But let me tell you something. The risk here, the investment sometimes, the much more rewarding it is sometimes. But there's something we call calculated risk. Whether it is a very risky investment or a very less risky investment, you have to take it calculatedly. You have to be able to know that, okay, what I want to do right now, if it fails, what will I do? Any investment you are doing, or analyze what you will do if it fails. Don't say, I'm putting my money in this place, it is sure. It might not be sure at the end of the day. So you have to analyze what would you do if it fails. That's why you now start getting like some things that you call leverage or edging. You edge against a particular fund. That's where insurance comes in. That's where some kind of okay, there are a couple of people who may want to invest in your company, and they say, okay, we have 100 million naira to give you, but I want you to tie this 100 million naira to an asset you have in your company. I'm giving you the money for business, but I want you to tie it to an asset such that if the business does not succeed, I can hold on to this asset. So what the person has done is that he has used that asset to edge against failure in case anything happens. So when it comes to knowing what's the extent of risk you can take, number one is based on who you are. How much risk can you actually tolerate? Number two is based on looking at, is there anything you can use to edge against those risks? Number three is also knowing what will you do if the investment fails. That can help you now say, okay, look, sometimes you want to invest and you're asking yourself, if I lose this money, will it end my life? If it will end your life, don't lose the money, please. Keep the money with you and keep moving. But if it will not end your life, then you can go ahead and risk. And when you are risking, you don't risk with 100% of your money. You diversify your risk, and to ensure that one can succeed, the other one can fail. So diversify your risk. You are investing. I wouldn't ask you now, carry all your money, go and pump it into real estate. Even if you are going to pump it into real estate, let it be diversified real estate, build some houses, buy some land, do some other form of real estate here and there, maybe invest in reverse, invest here and there. So you have to diversify. Diversification is one of the ways to gain balance when it comes to risk management. So I think that's more like the few words I can say in that respect.
Will Mr. Lawrence like to add to that, or is just
Yeah, I think those are the basics. Earlier I talked about research. Research helps you to take calculated risk. So whatever business, whatever investment you are going into, research about it. Gather information for yourself, apart from whatever you've been told. That way you will be able to, make informed decisions about your investment. And he has told us, make sure you have an income distribution structure, and you tell yourself, maximum, you don't invest more than 30% of whatever you own per time into any risky investment. Once you sense risk, don't invest more than 30% of what you have. So we have 1 million with you. Don't take the 1 million and put it in any investment where you sense risk. No, it's not safe for you because it can affect your wealth structure. So that's just it. That's my strategy anyway. I'm just sharing it
Thank you,
freely.
sir. Thank you so much, wise man. Also, I mean, those were wise words on handling risk. Thank you so much. So let's pick another question. This is an anonymous attendee. Thank you for the very impactful first lecture. My question, the person has two questions actually. How do we start, especially with investment? For someone without any financial knowledge expertise, what are the safe investments that one will start with? That's number one. Number two is, how do we connect Access Mentors partners to build wealth? I don't know if I can help you answer some of these questions, but you can still also make inputs on them. That's the first one. How do you start, especially with investment? I mean, I remember, there's an opportunity on HomeVest, for instance. There's an opportunity on PettySave. I think one of you mentioned a lot on PettySave. There's an opportunity on PettySave. Apparently, this group that I told you of, the world builders, we actually take advantage of these platforms actually to start with, because some of the persons on the group, there's not all of them that earn really much. Some of them are even earning less than 50,000. Some are earning like 100,000, and yes, they still commit to putting something aside every month. And so we do things like PettySave. We do things like real vests. I mean, at the basics, and at the end of 6 months, both the capital and the interest rate. So if you are this person, start from where you are. Start from where you are, what you have. You don't have to wait till you have start from the basics, where you can see minimal risk and also be able to invest. Because gone are the days when investment is only for the wealthy. Like, don't you have money, you can't invest. I mean, at this age now, you can do 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. And start with something. And at the end of 6 months, with 20% or 15% on top, you can have what you have increased. So start from where you are. So let me now allow the people they sent the question to answer by themselves.
Anyway, I think that's quite direct. start with savings first. What is most important for me? You know, the person said for someone without any financial knowledge or expertise, I will encourage you to start investing without financial knowledge or expertise. I want you to acquire the knowledge because we are talking about creating wealth here. So start with savings while you gather knowledge. I'll recommend 3 books right away. Number 1, this one is for everyone. If you're on this platform, if you have read this book before, please do a refresher of this book, Who Moved My Cheese? You need it in times like this with this COVID-19 crisis and everything. The cheese has moved in so many places, but a number of us, we are not aware yet. So the author is Spencer Johnson, Who Moved My Cheese. Please get that book, very important. Read it for this season. Also, foundationally, I think everyone trying to grow wealth should read The Richest Man in Babylon. We have so much lessons, and these are old-time classics, as in they've been there, and the principles you have in those books will always be relevant. The Richest Man in Babylon, the author is George Clason. Then we have the third one. This is if you want to go into entrepreneurship, you want to understand the statement that no employer has employed you to make you rich. You want to make money out of thin air. Get this book, What Rich People Know and Desperately Want to Keep Secret. What Rich People Know and Desperately Want to Keep Secret. I've given out over 100 copies of this book. Brian Sher, that's the author, Brian Sher, S-H-E-R. Now, read these 3 books as a foundation for creating wealth and preparing yourself for investment and wealth creation. And just like Dr. Stephen has said, start with savings. The second question is how can you access, connect, or partner with mentors or people to build wealth? I think that one is always a process. And the challenge we have is so many of us, we are always in a hurry to get this done. So you want to meet somebody today and present your proposal and expect they should just jump at the proposal. It doesn't work that way. You know, the last time I think I was on EduStart platform and I was using the ladder of loyalty to explain connecting with people. Everyone you meet, firstly, they are more like suspects because they are not sure yet whether you have the right intention coming to them with that business idea or that partnership. So it moves from there to becoming a prospect. It means you have been able to sell trust to them and they have started trusting you gradually, but yet they've not bought into you. It moves to a customer. That's when they have bought into you. They now believe in you. And from a customer, it moves to a client. It means they've bought into you once, they enjoy the experience, and they are doing more businesses with you. And finally, they become your advocate. At that level, they are your raving fans. They refer people to you. They defend you. Even when things go wrong, they stand with you because they've gone through this journey. So what I tell people when you want to connect is always a process. Start from somewhere. But I think what is most important is for you to show interest in the people you want to connect with to the point that before meeting them, you know almost everything about them. There are questions you should not ask them. It makes them feel more like, if you don't know this about me and you want to connect with me, then you are not serious. So it's more like I'm challenging people's mind more in this meeting. You need to read, you need to think, you need to process things that way, and then be interested in contributing to them also. And, you know, I've shared on platforms out that if you work with someone or you want to get close to someone, you can start looking at problems we can help them solve. As small as following all their shows online and you observe something and you send recommendation that what if we do it this way? Or last week I observed that the tie you were putting on was not properly knot. What if we do it this way? You use red. Don't you think blue would be better? Just suggesting, trying to add your little value. Nobody rejects that. Over a period of time, they will call for you. They will send for you. So when you want to connect with people, think of giving first. Then you will start receiving from them.
Nice. Thank you, sir. The wise man is not, I don't think he wants to join and answer this one. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I will just share an experience, really.
Okay.
Yeah, because Mr. Sunday has said it all. Like 3 years ago or thereabouts, a young man approached me that he wanted me to be his mentor. And I get a lot of that in in my activities. And he said he wanted me to be his mentor. I said, okay, no problem. No problem. I mentor people. I can be your mentor, no problem. And he left. A few months later, he came back and said that what he told me some few months ago, that he's serious about it, that he really wants me to mentor him. I said, yes, now that I'm your mentor now. I'm mentoring you. That I'm available. I'm your mentor. He said, okay. He left. The third time he came, that was actually a few months later. We attend the same church, and usually when he see me in church, that's when he will not come. And I came and said, sir, that some months ago I came to you. I said you should be my mentor. But it's like you don't want to mentor me. I said, me? I'm mentoring you already. That I'm your mentor, you know. And I asked him a question. I said, do you have my number? He said, no. I said, do you have my email address? He said, no. I said, have you ever requested for it? He said, no. I said, I'm your mentor. I've been mentoring you. I have really mentored you. Now, let me be very sincere with you. Except for people who want to go out of their way to help you, to assist you in life, or take special interest in you. When it comes to mentoring and mentors and mentees, the mentees is the one that pursue the mentor. The mentor does not pursue the mentees. That's where people get it wrong. What that guy was expecting is that immediately he told me, I want you to be my mentor. I should be calling him, hey, come, I am my mentee, come. So what are we doing today? I am mentee, come. How do we, what are the questions you have for me? I wouldn't do that, because for some people who have the time, they can know. But for someone like me that do not have the time, I won't call you. Except I have a special interest in you that I've taken it upon myself to say, this one, no, I will bring you out of the hand of the devil, except for those people. But if it's not that you just want me to be your mentor, you have to do more of the work in trying to get my attention than I will do in trying to get yours. So if you want to have anybody as a mentor, there are people that are already here that can mentor you. All you need to do is to follow them, pursue them, get what you want. You know, I used to tell one of my younger sister, she would always complain that she went to meet somebody, she needed help from the person, and the person is just being sarcastic, being proud and all that. I say, let the person be proud, let the person be sarcastic, let the person even abuse you. What you want is what you want. When you get it, you can tell the person, like, well, you can actually stop assisting me. I've gotten what I want. You know, I'm just, that's on a more like an example. But what I'm saying in essence is sometimes it's a question of pride. People cannot swallow their pride to be able to pursue and get what they want. They feel that, who is he that I will be talking and be pursuing up and down? I've called him 10 times. He did not pick my call. He cannot even return my call. If I show you my phone and show you the number of missed calls I have on a daily basis, if I decide to return it when I'm not customer care, you know, so so I have a customer care unit that more than 4 or 5 people are employed to return calls, not me. I can't return all calls, especially when I don't even have your number on my phone. So I think it's something that people need to learn, that it's your responsibility to pursue the mentor. When the mentor now picks special interest in you, it cannot become a mutual interest. But for now, you keep pursuing until you get what you want.
Nice. Thank you so much, sir. Let's look at another one. So this is John Akinola asking, what frameworks would you recommend for creating business systems for growing businesses? I think this is another lecture.
It is another lecture. It is another lecture.
Okay, let me give the person a more like a light, funny answer. There are carpenters here and there are furniture makers. They can create a frame, and we can use it. Now that's more like the answer. What framework is create a frame? The way they create a frame is the way they create framework. You want to fit in something, you have to create more like your body. Your body is first skeletal structure before the flesh itself on it. So that skeletal structure is what you create to carry the business. Because if we want to talk about the nitty-gritty of frameworks in business, it's like a lecture of another 3 to 4 hours with different parts. So, but just simply look at it that way. That's what it is. It's the skeletal structure that carries your business. And to create it, it's all about vision, it's all about mission, it's all about core values, it's all about your pursuit, it's all about your structure, your systems. Those are the things you put into consideration. Your business may not have done the kind of result you wanted to get. You may not have gotten there, but it needs to have those structure moving forward. Imagine that your body does not have the skeletal structure, it won't grow. It will not grow. And if it grows, the growth will be anyhow. Your growth is based on your skeletal structure. So that's one thing that any business person needs to consider. The framework that guides a business that makes it becomes a formidable system is when you put all those things in place. Have the right vision statement, mission statement, core value, your business essence, your unique proposition, all that put together is a lot of lecture really, but just put it that way in summary. It is the structure that you have, the skeletal structure that handles your body is the same thing you create in business that can handle your business.
Okay, let me just add to that, maybe speaking practically from our own business. Since you are asking for a framework, you can now go and research on the framework I'm giving right now. 3 things: leadership, the second one is people development, and the third is technology. So go and research these 3 things, because every business system requires quality leadership, because systems are driven by leaders. So go and research about leadership and be well positioned to deploy quality leadership. Then the next is people development, because people run systems. The reason why I can be away from the business for 4 or 5 months, and I'm only hoping that they open the airport soon so that I can come to Nigeria, is because we have developed people. So you want to create a formidable system, invest in people development. All of this takes time, it takes energy, it takes resources, but it's a process, you get it right. Then thirdly, technology. Research how you can drive your business with technology. It makes it seamless regardless of where you are operating from. Once you have these 3, those are the framework. But to now teach on leadership, that's what will take time. To teach on people development is time consuming. Then technology is a whole different ball game. But that's the framework that we operate with. And that's how we have been able to build business systems that earns us passive income.
Thank you, sirs. So I think EduStart to make a program available on setting up a business system later on. So we'll make that available to everyone so we can also grab on that. I will most likely graciously like to have you to share how the kind of structure that Pertinence uses to drive growth. Okay, so Angela, okay, no, I think we've treated that. Okay, so Adebusaya Adedapo, can we have some good platform where we can make a good investment that are interested? Yes, of course. I mean, in the course of this platform, I know we've talked about Petty. I can speak of Petty Save. I can speak of RealVest because I'm involved in that myself and the group. There's a group that a few of us, just about 10, 12 of us in Covenant University, that we started last year January, and we're looking for how to at least train ourselves and practice investing. So if you need more information on that, you can always get in touch with me, Stephen.Oluwatobi at covenantuniversity.edu.ng, or I think Toluwade, if you can help me to type that in the chat section, or you can also send to Stephen at edustart.global, so I can give you more details as to what you can do and take advantage of what the companies and the platforms that Mr. Lauren Shea and Mr. Wisdom Ezekiel have also created. This is not trying to do a promo, whatever. I mean, I usually like to talk of those that I can trust and those that I really believe in. So take advantage of Petty Save, take advantage of RealVest, and God has blessed you. You can also go as far as doing what Pertinence Properties offers, and also the Pertinence Limited. So whatever your level is, you can always find. You can invest in a farm. You can also invest in Agbeloba. I think it's agbeloba.ng. also that is agro related. So there are platforms you can take advantage of. I will speak of the one that I've gotten myself involved in. I don't know if there's any secret one that you have that we don't know, but adventure you can share with us the secret to limitless powers. All right, so can we look at the next one? So someone is asking, can we have mentoring towards owning a home on 5 years? We need this. How can we subscribe? Is it mentoring to own in 5 years or taking action to own in 5 years?
You see, I was smiling or laughing because it's not about mentoring, it's about action. For example, we just discussed how you can own in 7 years. Start from somewhere. But except you are talking about how you want to build, maybe that's what the person meant, and using the word mentoring is what made it look like. So it's just about starting from where you are. Maybe when I mentioned that I started with 250,000, I only obeyed the principle of inertia. Start first, then resources will keep coming somewhere. The thing about project is once you start a project, you reduce your wasteful spendings because your mind will always be on that project. So that's why when income comes, you are thinking of how to attend to the project. And that's what makes it move faster than you. And of course, discipline is very important. Some of the things like I tell my mentees in my mentoring platform, that don't see me like a celebrity. No, we're on this platform. I have things to learn from you. You have things to learn from me. The fact that I'm privileged to be your mentor does not make me the reservoir of knowledge that everybody must drink from. No, we learn from one another. And I tell them the things that you know to do that you have refused to do or you are not disciplined enough to do is the reason why this platform exists, so that I can push you into doing it. So I'm your accountability partner. So if you have not been reading, you don't have a choice on this platform. You have to read now, because you will do a review of those books and you will send to me and I will look at it and respond to you. You have not been saving, you have to start saving, because you will save and you will let me know how much you have saved. Not necessarily the exact figure, but at least that I'm doing 100 naira, I'm doing 500, just pushing you to do things. So the same way, that's what you need. Once you start, you need the discipline to continue. If you don't have that discipline, get an accountability partner that will keep pushing you until you arrive at your destination.
Thank you, sir. So I'm seeing the question here. I think I'll just tie these two together. So this person is asking, in summary, the person is asking how to get the links to all those opportunities. Okay, so this all will happen. This is Lawrence Afolabi. So Lawrence Afolabi and any other person interested here, you will like the links. Anybody who would like to have the links to all these investment platforms, please do me an email. I'm putting my email here in the chat section, and I'll reply you directly on how you can get these links. Okay, so that is, I've sent my email there, so I'll give you more information on that. So this is my EduStart email sent, and this is my Covenant University email. All right, so you can take advantage of those. So you need more information on that, just copy my email and use that. If you send me the email, make the subject matter, put cracking the world code, that is the topic for today's session. Make that the subject of the email so that I can identify that it's from you. Use let the subject be cracking the world code. Then in the mail you put request for investment opportunity links, so I can get the links for you for Petise, RealVest, and all the opportunity platforms that you can take advantage of, and then we can engage further from there. So that's to answer Lawrence's question. Then also, Adedakbo is asking how to join the mentorship platform by Mr. Lawrence. So is there any, okay, should I tell them to also get in touch with me?
Yeah,
Or
they
do
can. They can. Yeah,
okay.
they can.
So for the mentorship platform also, you can also send me an email. Send me an email, then I'll look for how to link you with him so that you can commence your journey. Now, which is this? Okay, aside from investment platform, which other secured investment platform can you advise us to venture into in order to secure the future? Okay, is there apart from, I think this person is asking maybe other opportunities apart from what the ones available that we've shared so far. Is there any you would like to also recommend?
Okay, when it comes to recommending, I think Mr. Olonshe said something earlier on. We must learn to research. We have
Yeah.
given you the tools. You need to use those tools to analyze every opportunity that is around you. Research. The internet is very vast these days. You can
Yeah.
actually research. But the thing is, there are a lot of scammers, so you have to also be very careful. But when you use all those indicators that we actually talked about, then you'll be able to be well positioned. I think we need to answer the questions faster because there are a lot of questions. I looked at the trail; we still have a long way to go.
There are a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So someone is asking the 3 books. So check the chat section. I put the 3 books there. Just scroll up there. This is a question. A comment. Greetings to you. To take action, I have been trying to invest in land on petty.
Island properties, island property investment. That's on petty
Yeah,
save.
on petty,
Okay.
he wants to invest on petty save. There is this offer that is ongoing now for island property.
Okay.
He said he's now considering using the transfer option that he wished to know how soon it will appear on his wallet. Though I would have advised that you just talk to the customer care when you were having that challenge, but you can do the transfer. And once you do that, notify the customer care email on the platform or phone number, and they will update it immediately. Since it's not accepting your card, we don't know what might be responsible for that. But in most cases, it may not be from the platform. So you can take advantage of the phone number or email address on the platform and communicate with them. Once you make the transfer, it will be updated on your wallet.
Okay. I'm going to skip some questions and just move here, particularly one that looks as if it has been answered before. So Lawrence is asking, can you please shed light on investing in farm or collaborate with a farm investment firm? How viable is this?
Well, we have farmers in the house.
Yeah, I will be hosting an event on or Instagram Live on Sunday, and that's what we'll be discussing. So maybe that person should just follow me on
Instagram.
Instagram, Facebook. So not this Sunday. It's today is Thursday, right? So next week Sunday is next.
No,
week.
today is Saturday.
Today is Saturday. Sorry. So next week Sunday. Today is Saturday. Sorry. I don't even know weekend any longer. I've just been working. I don't know. So next week Sunday, not tomorrow, please. Next week Sunday. Just follow me on social media and we'll discuss agri and agro businesses.
Okay, and so to all our participants, I highly recommend that you follow our speakers for today on social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter, and they use their real names. So Sunday Olorunseyi, in the case of Mr. Sunday Olorunseyi, and Wisdom Ezekiel, all one word. Follow them on social media and always get updates there to get a number of things that you will need. And also, he mentioned an opportunity now for those who are into farming or interested in farming, how you can improve your knowledge capacity and also invest wisely in that area. Adekoya is asking, what are the documents available for investors after 100% payment? I think, is it talking about, okay, I guess it's talking about, I think it's talking about the home vest or something. It's looking like maybe for the land or something. What
I think it's for home vest.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are the documents available?
Okay. First of all, we are building in a well-serviced estate, so you expect that the estate has all the estates we're using are well documented, so they have either CFO is or government allocation, or it has this extension. So it is well documented. So one of the things you are going to get is that you are going to get an individual survey of that particular land where your house is. You're going to get that after you finish payment. You are going to get a copy of the CFO, and you are going to get an agreement, more like a contract between we and the person who invested, which states all the terms and conditions that that operates the estate. You are also going to get that, and all there's what we call acknowledgement letter. Immediately you start subscribing, you also get that, and that is one of the things that you get. So documentation in terms of your survey, registered survey, the CFO, a copy of the CFO, the acknowledgement letter, and the allocation letter, which is very important. That's one of the things you get. Then the deed of assignment, assigning the properties to you. So you get all these documents, and that's what you can actually use to present. In case you want to use the house to borrow money from bank, you can actually tender that as collateral if you can get a governor's consent to it. I think these are the few documents you are going to get.
Okay. Let me see. There's a question here that it seems as if maybe in the course of your presentation you had mentioned, but I'm thinking it will require more clarity, so I think we should answer it. This is by Kenneth Etunmi. In an environment like Nigeria, I want this platform to categorically state the indicators investors should watch out for when deciding where to invest by giving practical examples. Like, what are the indicators that he or she should look out for? I remember Mr. Lawrence was saying something like, who are the persons driving it? Are they trustworthy over time? For those that have related with them in time past, I remember that as an indicator that you mentioned. So are there indicators, other indicators that they should look out for before they try to invest anything?
Yeah, I think I still want to remain an advocate of people doing research for themselves and not just relying on, when you read reviews, you see a lot of people, especially when those research are biased towards what they do. So they kind of make those information favor what they do. But if you have an open mind, you'll be able to research to see positive indicators that I mentioned that one as more like the basis, especially when you want to invest in startups. You understand what I'm saying? And that's when you have enough information. I talked about the capacity to sense and interpret disruptions also. These are things you should look at, because the fact that the business is doing well today does not mean that business is sustainable. A lot of business out there is sustainability risk that they are faced with right now. So all of this can only come when you research for yourself to see some of these things. And what is most important is the foundation that we have told you, the characters of the owners of the business and the track record of that business. So you want to look at it side by side. Who are the people running it and what is their track record when it comes? But other things keeps changing when age. If I tell you something is working right now, within the next 6 months, it might not be working again. So if you hold on just to that, you will not, that information might be obsolete. For those of us in the academic environment, you agree with me that some of the things people learned when they were in the year 1, by the time they get to year 3, it has become obsolete because the knowledge has been updated. So when it comes to investment, I would not advise you to just take whatever I say right now and work with it. You need to keep updating your knowledge to ensure that you are relevant per time as to what indicators you should look out for when you want to invest anywhere. But the foundation, we already laid the foundation, the character of the people involved and the track record that they have in doing business. So the rest is for you to be able to sense and interpret change or disruption taking place in the marketplace.
Thank you, sir. So there's a question here. Can I withdraw my savings anytime I like? I think this is petty save. This must be petty save. Can I withdraw my savings anytime I like or when I feel like?
Yes, you can withdraw anytime you like, but it comes with some kind of restrictions. Petty Save is a savings platform. The intention of the platform is to help people save. And that's why we ensure that we build the platform in such a way that it will restrict people from just putting money and taking. If you put money and take it anyhow, then it's not different from your normal bank account. You could as well leave the money in your account because you can always take it. And so we have created restriction that if you are going to take money by force, you're going to lose money. So that should help you not to take money by force or take money before the expiration of the time. So in PettySave, we have withdrawal dates. I think every last day of the month is withdrawal day. No, every last, is it last or first?
We have on the 31st of March, 30th of June, 30th of
yeah. So the last day, anyway.
And 31st of December.
Yeah, so last day of every month. So
Really,
if
4 times in a year.
in a year, so 4 times in a year, that's every quarter, sorry. So you're able to use that to withdraw if you want to withdraw. But if you now said, I don't want to wait before that time, I want to withdraw my money, then you will have to pay a percentage to be able to withdraw it, 5%. So that's the reason why that is done, is so that people don't just put money there and just withdraw it anyhow, because it will defeat the essence of setting up the platform. The platform is to be able to help you save, so you can have something. You can be able to. So sometimes I even forget that I have savings in PettySave. By the time it gets to the time of withdrawal, by the time I open my account, I see some big amount of money, and I was, wow, if those money were to be with me, I probably would have spent them. So I think it's a very wonderful platform that people should take advantage of. But don't take advantage of it because you want to always save and withdraw anytime you want. It won't be a good one. Just keep the money in your bank account if you will have to do that. Because you'll be losing money doing that, really.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. So this one question here, what do you think about stocks, bonds, and mutual funds? We didn't get to talk about them as investment options. And the person is also asking Forex, as well as Forex. So they want to know your thoughts on these. That's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and this is by Demi Alabi. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and Forex.
I think I actually mentioned them, but just in passing, because we're trying to rush the presentation and ensure that we touch everything. So when I was talking about multiplying money, I talked about investing in stocks, in bonds, in mutual funds, and these are investments that will always be relevant, regardless of whatever challenges the market has been through, especially the capital market. Up till now, the Nigerian capital market has not recovered from the economic holocaust of the 2008, 2009. It's finding it difficult to recover. But it will interest you to know that between that period and now, more millionaires are still being made on the capital market platform. So what am I trying to say? These are also ways to earn passive income, but it's also information driven, it's research driven. If you want to invest in this market, I advise you that you should make your investment objective very clear. Is it for short term, for medium term, for long term? In most cases, these platforms, especially the capital market, does not work for short term. It can be very risky. It's a volatile market. So if you are going there to invest, maybe you just prepare for a long term. Our funds, I started investing in the capital market when I was in part 2 in the university. And of course, that's well over 20 years now. And I tell you, I have no regrets. Okay, about 20 years now. I have no regret at all. Up till now, every fund that I've never withdrew my money from the capital market. Imagine how long I've been putting money there. I've not had to take money out of the capital market because I knew I was doing it for a long time. That does not mean you cannot withdraw. I don't have need for it. The resources I have there, I don't need them to run the things that I do. So that's why I just left them there. So they are good platforms for investment because whatever you put there will keep multiplying. You don't need to put in your own effort. You don't need to work. Others are working and they are creating resources for you. Forex also, I'm not a forex trader. I've not done much when it comes to forex because just like I told you, my investment strategy, whatever I don't understand, I don't invest in. So I don't play much there as in actively. Take it or leave it, we all do forex. So long you buy dollar, you sell, but as in, there are active players and in the industry. I don't do that, but that does not cancel the fact that it's a good form of investment. But you must know if you are doing it for short, for medium, or for long time, and your strategies have to be very clear. All of these investments are fine, but let it align with your destination. That's what is important.
Thank you, sir. There is one I think, oh, can we still take like two more or three more?
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay. Okay, so let me just take some more then. Okay, so Adiemi Alabi is also asking, do we get to pay service charges in the estates after paying off the house in the home vest? I think that's standard.
Okay, one thing that we have done in Homeverse is to ensure that there are no hidden charges to anything we are doing. So what you are paying, in some other housing scheme, you pay for the house. Before you finish paying for the house, they'll come up with other forms of payment that you need to do. And before you know it, the house is not going to be yours because you can't pay all those things. So for us, what we have told you is what you are paying. There are no hidden charges. But nevertheless, I think anywhere you live in the world, you have to pay service charge if it is a place that is well organized. The place where I currently live is not really an estate, so to say. I think we created an estate out of the entire place, but we also pay service charge. There is security, there is power supply. Sometimes you say the transformer has gone bad. They need to fix the transformer. Our government is not that responsible in responding to things like this. So that's what they collect some of those fees for. Developmental levies here and there. For us, it's not developmental levies, service charge. There are going to be service charge because for us to be able to maintain the estates very well, because you don't want to live in an estate where the common places are not well kept, nobody is cleaning anything. So you now find it to be one of those places in Lagos where everywhere is dirty. You don't want to stay in an estate where you don't have security, where anybody goes in and everybody comes out. You don't want to stay in that kind of an environment. I know that you don't want to stay in an estate where there's no water. Everybody will have to dig their own borehole here and there. So for us to be able to create all those amenities, we need to be able to say, okay, this is the service charge that everybody needs to be paying. It's not going to be anywhere near what you pay as rent, really, on a monthly basis. Where I currently live, I pay almost ₦1 million on a yearly basis as service charge because I have to employ my own security, I have to employ my own cleaner, I have to employ my own power supply, I have to do a whole lot of things, myself, and that takes well over ₦1 million from me on an annual basis. So, but you're not going to pay anything close to that because we're all collaborating to be able to do it. In this case, I do it for myself. That's why it's that expensive. But in a place where I use one security man, 20, 30, 40, 50 people can come together and use one security man or two, and the money will actually be less. So there will be service charge, but it will not be anything near what you pay as rent, just a minimal amount to ensure that we all have a healthy environment to stay in.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I think this is one more. There is a current craze about cryptocurrency trading, and there are schemes such as Forsage and Lion's Share. Are these reliable investments to make? I think you should go and research.
or let experience teach the person.
Anyway,
which one do you want?
For me, when it comes to investment, I cannot really advise you on what investment to do or which not. It depends on your risk appetite. For some people, regardless of what you tell them, if MMM comes back today again, they will still do it because that's their understanding of investment. So cryptocurrency in itself is not bad. But I feel we have too many schemes that have rendered people hopeless. They've been beaten and battered through cryptocurrency trading. So if you are going to do it, I advise that you get well informed. Because I'm a believer of in technology, and I know that, take it or leave it, some of the things we fight against may just still eventually become the norm. I'm talking about cryptocurrency. Many years from now might just still become, when you look at evolution of money, it has gone through various phases, you understand? But, regulation is very important. Any industry, sector, or business that is not properly regulated, the chances are that things can just take any fall. It can heighten, it can drop suddenly, and that puts you on the edge all of the time. So for me, I'm not an investor in cryptocurrency, and I will repeat again, I don't have to know everything, as in whatever I don't understand, I don't invest in. Those were part of the lessons I learned. I told you about my failures investing in people. Now I've learned that I will need to understand something very well before I invest in it. And I've not picked interest in understanding cryptocurrency. I don't have, so you talking about Forsage, Lion shares and all of that. I'm not into it, but that does not make cryptocurrency a bad business. That's our investment. It depends on your risk appetite.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
just to add to that, I think we're running up right now, Abi?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. I think when it comes to whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's forex trading, whether it's commodity trading, whether it's affiliate marketing, whether it's network marketing, whatever you do, ensure that you analyze yourself first. Analyze what you want to do, and analyze what you will do if the thing succeeds or it fails. Those should be your guiding principle. Because at the end of the day, we can say MMM was not good, but some people made a lot of money out of it. It was a system that was bound to fail, really. But people who started early, they made money and they left. They left other people to bear the brunt. So what I'm saying in essence is analyze it properly. Whatever you don't understand and you cannot risk your money over, then let it go. There are investments I have done that I knew that this investment was too risky, but I still went ahead to do it and I lost money. But the money I lost is more like out of 10 million, I took 500,000. I said, let me try it. And I lost that 500,000. I wouldn't feel it that much. But imagine that I took the entire 10 million and I put it there knowing the risk involved. That would just be a colossal disaster. So what I'm saying in essence is analyze it properly and take your position. Don't, because if we recommend one today, that one can change tomorrow. We can recommend that one. It keeps changing. Things keeps evolving. And you can't stay in one bus stop and say, this is how things work. You don't have to have your underlying principles that guides you to be able to make decisions here and there. And that will really be it for ensuring that you don't lose money, or you don't lose a lot of money, or you don't lose money carelessly. But when you lose money, please learn from it. It's school fees. You will learn. Except when you don't learn, that's when it becomes a loss, truly. But if you learn from it, it becomes like school fees. We have lose money. Ask Mr. Sunday. At a particular year, I lost money in tens of millions, and it was due to some decisions made. And I learned from it, and today I'm better positioned. He has also lost lots of money. Any rich person, any wealthy person that tells you I have never lost money, go and check. He has never made money. He has never made money. You lose money, but the way you lose the money, it's very important. You analyze properly, and what you do after you have lost the money is also very important. You have to learn lesson and move forward.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Can we click the raise hand button as a sign of applause for speakers for today? I have been enriched, and I believe that you have been enriched as well. Thank you so much for the insights that you've shared. We deeply appreciate it. The entire team deeply appreciates you. Now, to all our participants, it's time to take action. All right. I love the parable that Jesus gave. After giving his seminar from Matthew chapter 5, by the end of chapter 7, he started to tell the people based on what he had shared with them in the seminar. He said, after you've heard all these things I've said, if you do something with them, then you're a wise man because you are building your house upon the rock. But if you hear all these things I've said and you don't do anything with it, then you are like a foolish man building a house on the sand. So it's time for you to take action. Action, action, action. For those of you who would like to take action, do me an email. I'm privileged to have a relationship with them by divine privilege. So I can always, communicate that to them and also get information for you through that means. So I'm going to send my email now in the chat section. Note it, I've sent it before. I'm sending my emails again. You can always get in touch with them by sending an email to me, and we'll be able to get more details on that, whatever opportunities. And also, in addition to what they said, do your own research also. Do your own research. It's good for you to be armed with information by yourself. There's what you do with what you find by yourself, not what is just given you. So there are things that you should also find by yourself, while you take advantage of the insights that others have given, like has been shared on this platform. So I hope that after this program, we're not returning back to our old ways, but that we are also taking action to do something with what we've heard. Start from where you are with what you have. That's my personal philosophy. Start what you have from where you are. If it's 100 naira, if it's 20 naira, just find the place where you can invest it. We shared some here, there could be some other ones to take full advantage and start to grow. Remember, don't begin to spend from your first generation of children of money. Make that one to produce children and grandchildren, then begin to spend from there. I mean, we just heard that from the session that Wise Man also shared. And if you'd like to get in touch with any of the two of them also, you can also send me an email. I know some of you, apart from the questions that we saw, we didn't mention it out. I think we only mentioned once, but for those of you who've been interested in their mentorship program, you can also send me that email and I'll get in touch with them, or I'll get a contact that you can always relate with directly with them. And I hope you all had an amazing session. If you did have an amazing session, please use the chat section and let me know how much this session has blessed you. So our speakers, again, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. The Wise Man, thank you so much. And Mr. Sunday Lorish, I think we should find the name for Mr. Lorish. We should find it.
We have a name for him already. You guys don't know. It's our own secret code.
Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it. Lamide, are you there? Any closing remark?
Yeah,
Yes,
you've done it.
Wow, it's been a great time, and the insight I've gained has been very wonderful. I've taken copious notes, and I believe that what we've learned will also be sent to the alumni body, that's the Common University Kuala Ota chapter, so that we can all soar together in this journey to financial freedom. I appreciate the panelists. I appreciate you, Mr. Sunday. I appreciate you, Mr. Ezekiel. Thank you very much, sir. God bless you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate. Really appreciate. So our participants, thank you also for staying through till now. 51 of you are still here. I know we capped at a very high number, but 51 of you, you've chosen to stay till now. God bless you richly, and I believe you gained something. God bless you richly. So thank you so much, sirs. Once again, the Wise Man, Mr. Sunday Lorishe, God bless you. Thank you so much. I'll be getting with you more deeply, more so that now I've put myself in the spotlight now that they should bombard my emails. So I'll take the responsibility of trying to sort that out, and also seeing how I believe there should be someone that can help us out in getting those opportunities across to them. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
So much.
God bless you.
I'll keep in touch.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye, sis.